It's not funny at all, but raise your hand if you were resigned to laughing or chuckling, at least for a moment, around 5:55 on a Sunday evening.
Laughing, chuckling, more of just trying to smile through it, I guess. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah,
I was trying to smile through it,
I had
Brent.
no other emotions left.
And
I was done.
Yeah.
Put it down. End it.
Yeah.
Cut me off.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I looked up in the thesaurus last night for TV what embarrassing meant in a lot of different ways.
Sure.
Came up with some good ones.
Okay.
Ended with cringeworthy of the 7, 8, 9, 10 I listed. And they all speak volumes, by the way. Jacksonville Jaguars just flat out stink. And November proved that. They're not a good football team. No changes are being made. No changes are going to be made this week, according to Doug Marrone. Still have not heard anything from Shad Khan or Tom Coughlin, and I'm not surprised by that, although many people want to hear what you want and what you expect might be two different things, and that will not happen, in my opinion. And where does it go from here? Well, the ship is sinking, no doubt about it. We know what was at stake for Doug Marrone and this coaching staff, and maybe even this entire front office going into 2019. And at 4-4, they had it all in front of them, and now we're looking at one of the worst stretches in franchise history in the three most important games of the Jacksonville Jaguars season, and maybe the three most important games of Doug Marrone's coaching tenure here in Jacksonville. So the writing's on the wall. That's about it. I know everybody wants change and knee-jerk reaction right away. I don't think the Jaguars are doing that. Doug Marrone said in a conference call this afternoon he does not feel like there is any change that he can make that will help the football team win right now. So he's not just going to pull the trigger on a move just for change's sake, which sometimes does happen in the NFL. The other thing is he's not switching quarterbacks, although much of the fan base would like to see Gardner Minshew. That is not happening at the moment as well. So that's the up-to-date news on those fronts, those big stories. Now, just because it's not happening doesn't mean it shouldn't happen. That's a different storyline. What a collapse for the Jacksonville Jaguars, especially in that 5-6 minutes of the third quarter. You know, I counted it off. I did it on TV last night. It was from 5:38 p.m. until 5:52 p.m. It went 7-3 to 28-3, just like that. And let me add one thing in here. The network took two commercial breaks. 7-3 to 28-3. In 14 minutes of real time, less than 3 minutes on the game clock. It was disgusting and one of the worst stretches in Jaguars' recent memory, if not their entire history.
So I don't want to have the knee-jerk reaction, the emotional reaction to this. I gave my 3 takeaways last night after the game, and everything that I said, I'm still sticking by. I think the fact that there are 0 changes that are about to be done, all things considered, this week when they play against Tampa Bay at home, I think it's a mistake. I think that the entire team right now, and I'm not going to just pinpoint 1 or 2 players. Here we are again. I'm talking about the entire offense, the entire defense, even some of the special teams. They're not playing well, and they're not playing up to their standards. And when you have that, it falls directly on the coaching. Now, I'm just basically just beating a dead horse by saying there's got to be changes. There has to be changes, but there really, in my opinion, there has to be, because if you're Shad Khan, the owner, and you say, you know what, this has been a horrible season, and your comments are still echoing from last season when you said they're not going to settle for the status quo. Well, guess what? You guys are below the status quo now. In my opinion, you guys are worse than last year, because at least last year you had the excuse of injuries, right? There's a lot of injuries, more than the usual team would encounter. Their offensive line was absolutely depleted. So from that perspective, yeah, okay, you had a bad 2018 campaign. So be it. This year, you went in after the bye week with the full roster pretty much intact. Now, yeah, you Swaim was out, Marquise Lee out for the season, but any other team would take that in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Marcel Darius, who obviously it's hurting them not having Marcel Darius to some degree.
Yeah.
Some degree.
A little,
maybe 20 yards worth of running.
It's whatever it is. But my point is this, is you had exactly what you wanted. You had the roster intact after the bye week. So if you want to go ahead and blame talent on it, well, then that falls on the GM, and then the GM change needs to be made. If you're happy with the players that you have on your team, then you're not getting the most talent out of them, then that falls on coaching. Either way, and yes, some of it falls on the players. The players got to play better. The players got to be focused. But we're talking about the entire team here. We're talking about the entire culture here. And if we're doing that, there needs to be a change made, because if you're a Jaguars fan, and I'm going to be honest with you, if you're a Jaguars fan and you're trying to cling to something, you're going to go and watch the game against Tampa Bay. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. I hope they do, because that's good for the city, obviously. But if you're a Jaguars fan, what sign from the team have you seen to have any kind of optimism whatsoever right now?
Oh, no, I don't think there's any kind of optimism, and I own the Sunshine and Rainbows Club. I think it's more just about, can DJ Chark get 10 touchdowns? Can Leonard Fournette get 1,000 yards and however many touchdowns? Can Nick Foles show you some reason why they are sticking with him and why he was paid $88 million? And if all this internal, hey, we're going to keep grinding, we're going to keep building, we're going to keep all this, will pay off in these final 5 games in some way, shape, or form on the field with performance, because as of now it hasn't. Again, I get all those things. We'll talk about a little bit of that dynamic later. We did this a little bit last week, too, coming off some of the responses. But I think we'll deeper dive into that just a bit, because that's where, like I brought up last week, there's a disconnect. People don't want to listen to Nick Foles say that. But inside the building, some people have to hear that, and they have to believe that. It's a different world inside Jags headquarters than it is outside right now, and most of the time, all the time. But, I thought of this last 2 games so far, other than the first game of the year when he got hurt in that touchdown pass, which was a beautiful throw. Have you once said yet about Nick Foles that, wow, that was a cool play. That was a good play. That was an awesome throw. Mm-hmm. That's why they paid him. Haven't. 2 games, And so we'll get into the Nick Foles stuff. But you brought up a good point. I didn't really think about it in the context of last year, because last year felt so miserable. And they were 3-1, and they were coming off all the good stuff, and they were riding, and then it went boom. I mean, that was like the stock market crash last year. That was just so jarring. Well, you know what? You might be right. This might be worse. And they had the excuses of that. Not only that, most people would tell you they had the excuse of at least they were running Blake Bortles out there. They like the 2 quarterbacks they have now. Mm-hmm. So in context of last year, and they have a healthy Leonard Fournette, their bell cow. So I think you're right. The more I think about that, as you just said it, this is worse than last year. And I think so much so because everybody circled these 3 games. We knew these 3 games were going to make or break, and nobody saw getting swept by 20-plus every single game and giving up 200 yards rushing. I don't care how negative you are. Nobody saw that. Now, the Sunshine Pumpers, as we're affectionately called, they might have said, we're going to sweep them all and win 3 in a row and bam, win the division, all this stuff. Yeah, sure, it was out in front of them, but I think realistically nobody said that either. Mm-hmm. Everybody was thinking, hey, 2-1, at worst it's going to be 1-2, and maybe you're still in the middle of it, but 1-2 wouldn't be good. Nobody saw this coming. And it's really for the first time, and yeah, I'm catching up with you, if you always believe this, but I try to hang in there as long as I can on the coaching staffs and all that stuff. I really do. I think it's tough to win. I think it's tough to win in the NFL. It's tough to get it right. So I really try to hang in. But I think this stretch of football, not just yesterday, this stretch of football, and I said this last week, so I got to be true to this. I said if they give up 200 yards rushing again in 3 straight weeks, I'm not sure somebody will come back on the plane. Well, they all came back on the plane, but I'm not going to fall off that. I am a little surprised that there isn't a little shakeup going on this week in Jacksonville, and I couldn't defend it not being a shakeup. I don't understand why they're not. I mean, how do you give up 3 straight weeks in a critical time, pretty healthy football team overall, and 200-plus yards when you're trying to fix it? You said all week you were trying to fix it, tackling and angles and all these things, and now you're still giving it up. So it doesn't make sense that there isn't any kind of shakeup to me. I don't advocate those things. I'm not a big fan of those things. I get it. It's tough, but I'm a little surprised there isn't. And on top of that, I think now it does go back to Doug Marrone and this coaching staff and what they have down there because of these 3 weeks. Nothing else. You can take everything else because what I have to go be honest with what I said this last month and a half. I said I thought Doug Marrone did a great job keeping this thing together. They lose their quarterback, the Ramsey charade, all that stuff. I thought he did a great job of keeping it together to get to 4-4. Well, here we are. They've gotten progressively worse these last 3 weeks, which included a bye week in a critical stretch of football, and they're getting worse. They're not even showing signs of getting better. He's now made maybe the wrong decision in the Nick Foles and Gardner Minshew button that needed to be pushed. And on top of that, all the stuff that he did to keep everything together, hoping that the players would respond in a positive way if healthy, and the way he treated them in August and everywhere else, it's completely backfired. And so while I applauded it while it was happening, he even knew this too, and he said in the beginning of the season, it's either going to work or it isn't. Well, guess what? It isn't. And it isn't probably means it's not working for much longer in Jacksonville for Doug Marrone. I don't know of any other way to say it. I mean, he laid it out there this season. He put it out there. The players haven't responded. They didn't coach him up enough. They didn't do the right things. And maybe what's even worse is how they've come out in the third quarters. I'm not a huge halftime adjustment guy in the NFL. You get 12 minutes, okay? I mean, you can make a tweak here or there. But these last 2 weeks in the third quarter, holy cats.
Well, and
holy cats.
That tells you about coaching right now. The great coaches can go in at halftime, realize what their opponent is doing, and adjust to it. And the past 2 weeks, the Jaguars have absolutely been outcoached after the second half. Let's go. There's no excuses.
I can't defend that. I can't tell you anything else. I don't know how else to say it. Your calls welcome, *690 904 9901. Bring on the therapy session. We'll talk about the coaching staff. Do they need to make a decision soon? Can they wait till the end of the year? What's the latest? What's going on next? We're coming back next, talking Jags on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jags with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Temperatures this afternoon and this evening will drop off quickly tonight. It'll be quite cold, so grab your sweaters and jackets to near 40 by morning, and even warmer on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. With the First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where you can get 20% off store-wide, including loose diamonds with special financing. Only at Beards Diamonds.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
At Action News Jax, we're here for severe. When storms threaten, put your trust in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Team, led by Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, rated the most accurate for the last 13 years.
The First Alert Weather Team is the only team of certified meteorologists in the Jacksonville area. That means we have the most schooling and training to forecast and predict severe weather. And that experience will keep you safe from a storm.
Action News Jax First Alert Weather on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
When the time comes to get your roof replaced, call Big Fish Roofing. We don't require any upfront deposits, and we are locally owned and operated by Jacksonville natives who have built their business on quality and integrity. At Big Fish Roofing, we know your roof is the first line of defense against the elements, so we make sure to deliver a quality project in a timely manner. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing, or give us a call at 904-685-8334.
What's up, Jacksonville? Angie here, president of Angie Staffing. If you're finding it harder and harder to find the right candidates, or your ads are letting you down, call me, Angie Staffing, 904-703-8880. I have over 20 years of experience right here in Jacksonville. I can help with anything: accounting, finance, legal, even that one position that's impossible to fill. Angie Staffing, 904-703-8880. We're bringing back the hustle.
Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
The only difference between the New York Jets and the New York Giants is I have no problem with Pat Shermer finishing the season before he goes as the head coach of this franchise, because he never should have been a head coach to begin with. And in the case of Adam Gase, he should be going today.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and in the iHeartRadio app.
As far as the Jaguars, it's kind of like the guy who's been married 5 times and he keeps saying, well, I haven't found the right woman. Dude, it's you. In this case, it's the coach. It's not the quarterback.
Well, that was a pretty good explanation.
Yeah.
That was
Noted.
a good explanation.
If ever encounter my 5th wife, I'll be sure to. All right, word to yourself. It's me.
By the way, how are you gonna be able to split this radio salary up with 4 different divorces? I mean,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a tough
It's
thing
gonna be a rough
to do.
one, man.
At
Wow.
least in the NFL, you got a little more money to play with.
Oh yeah, exactly. Signing bonuses and endorsement deals.
Actually, that might be the best, right?
What's up?
You get divorced 4 different times and you're making like nothing. They get nothing out of it.
Might as well stick with me because you get nothing out of it.
There's a
so you
lot
might
of
as well
guys
stick
right
with
now
me.
fist bumping. Yeah.
Yeah, you tell.
Oh my
just
goodness. Yes, we are.
One and done's, Brent.
One
One
and
and
done,
done's,
baby.
man. We're
I'm
one
going
and
on
done's.
20 years.
I know you are, man. You're good. One and done.
All right, let's get right to the line. Star 690 is the number. All right, Steven, what you got, man?
Hey guys, first and foremost, thanks for letting me take my call. I'm really, really disappointed with how the Jags are just overall acting as a football team. And in my personal opinion, I think it starts and ends with the owner. I think if the owner allows mediocre coaching, I think that's on him. I think him not making any type of comments out loud so the fans and the season ticket holders can hear that he's frustrated, that's on him. And I think him not making any changes directly, that's on him. I think he doesn't know it, and it's my personal opinion. He's a very good businessman, but I don't think he knows that much about football, because I guarantee if this is a bigger market like a Philadelphia or Dallas, like those guys aren't waiting for the shoe to drop. They're going to make a decision, and they're going to make some things like roll in the building. This guy is going to be like, well, we'll just wait until the end of the season to make changes. That's not fair to the fan base. That's not fair to the city of Jacksonville. That's not fair, period. You know what I mean? I understand he's a multi-billionaire and it's his team, but at the end of the day, he's got to give the fans that pay money every week something to cheer about. And right now, Shad Khan's doing a poor job of doing that. And I'll take your comments off the air. Love the show.
Steven, thanks for listening, man. Thanks for calling Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. A lot to unpack right there. Yeah. And going after Shad Khan in terms of not being able to pull the trigger quicker. Here's a couple of thoughts, all right? One is you have to remember, see, what I supported them coming back this year in a big way. Not just small, in a big way. And I understand people were mad at the end of last year, but you mentioned the injuries. The injuries were ridiculous. And people can't use that as I get it. But a lot of people were fed up with this regime, Tom Coughlin included, because of re-signing Blake Bortles, as much as it was the off-the-field stuff. And that's fine. You can have your opinions. You might be right. I'm not telling you you're wrong. And now it turns out you might be right, right?
Yeah.
If we do this long enough and you say everybody should be fired or cut, you're probably going to be right in the NFL because sooner or later it's coming. But my point of hanging on to this staff last year was, wait a minute, stop the car. This is the same group of people that got you to an AFC championship game. An AFC championship game. We can't lose sight of that, right? I mean, last year, that was a year removed, and people wanted to fire them. A year removed from an AFC championship game, a place this franchise had only gone 2 other times in its 25-season history. So I thought that alone was like, wait a minute here. Let's be patient. But Shad Khan showed he will be patient to a degree in his statement after last season and said, I did not like the way the last 3 quarters of that season went. And we're keeping the guys, but they're on notice, essentially, is what he said. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And they've been on notice. So this year's a totally different circumstance. And I also don't believe necessarily 3 years is too long in terms of keeping a staff. I mean, I think 3 years is a good amount of time to prove which way you're going and how this thing is working. And right now it's starting to nosedive in Jacksonville.
So I guess to kind of get to the caller's, statements here and what he thinks. Listen, when it comes to Shad Khan, I had the privilege to talk to him a couple times when I played for the Jaguars, and I think he's a great guy. He's a great businessman. Now, is he the biggest quote unquote football mind out there? Absolutely not. But he hires people to do that job for him. But here's my issue with it, Brent. And I thought the caller made some great points here. If you're the owner of an NFL team, you should never, truth be told, you should never really care about necessarily the fans' opinion about firing people and things like that, right? Like you hire people for that. So the fans' opinion should go by the wayside. But here's my issue with it. Shad Khan, and we used the word, was it viability? Was that the word, the buzzword that we've...
Yeah, viable.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever it is. So Shad Khan...
Viability's okay. I think that's a word.
Viability. Whatever the buzzword was that
went
we're
into
using.
the thesaurus once in the last 24 hours. I'm not going back.
Whatever the buzzword was. But Shad Khan kind of poked the jab at the fans and said that they're not coming out to the games. Yeah. Right? And then there was the question of, do they move the game to London for a second time? So he kind of put it all in the fans' court. So that shows that he definitely values the fans' opinion. So if you're Shad Khan and the Jaguars have absolutely been blown out, I don't even care what the scores were. Like, I get it. The Jags dropped 20 yesterday. No, the game was a lot worse than what the score indicates.
It's 101-36 this month in 3 AFC South games.
So the Jaguars lose 3 in a row to AFC South teams, and not just lose, molly-whopped, curb stomped, boat race, whatever you want to say. Get absolutely dominated, and no changes have been made. So what kind of message are you sending to the fans about your football team where it's like, yeah, the product on the field has been some of the worst that we've probably ever seen, to tell you the truth, with the talent that they're supposed to have, been some of the worst that we've ever seen, and there's no changes being made. It's just the fact that, all right, so we got beat by the Titans big time. Let's go ahead and spin the dice. Let's try the same formula again and see what happens against Tampa Bay at home this time. And let's see if the fans show up for it. I think that if you start bringing the fans and questioning their dedication to coming to the games, you at least have to show as an owner that you're willing to make some kind of changes, and you're willing to show, you know what, this behavior right now, us losing 3 in a row to AFC South Division opponents, it's not acceptable. Something's got to change. We're not going to go with the status quo. But guess what? By not letting anybody go, by not holding anybody accountable, you are going with the status quo.
Yeah, and I think I'm a little surprised. I told you already. I'm a bit surprised there isn't a move made because one, I think it's happening. It's going that way anyway. So you have now 5 weeks that you can change something. So I'm a bit surprised by that. I told you last week. I told you on social media yesterday during the game, and I'm telling you right now. And listen, I like Todd Wash. I love him. I like Todd Wash. I mean, I'm not rooting for people to lose their jobs. I'm just saying, in this business, if you give up the way this thing has been headed, and now you give up 4 times in 11 games, 200-plus yards rushing, and you're pretty healthy overall, then that's going to come back to you. And 3 times in a row in an AFC South division where it was all there for the taking, I'm just surprised nothing has taken place yet. One other thought about what the caller said, though, and I got to go, I'm just trying to talk all around it here, and why Shad Khan doesn't make moves maybe faster as some. And he brought up Dallas. Well, first of all, Jason Garrett's been there forever, and the Jags have won more playoff games than Dallas has this century. Okay? So Jerry Jones, who might come out and talk like that, certainly has had the ultimate line of patience.
They're still going to the playoffs
Jason
year in, year out.
I don't know about year in, year out, man.
They've been in the playoffs a lot more than the Jaguars have.
That's true. They've been more competitive. They've certainly haven't been 2-14, 3-13.
Yeah.
But my point is, you're talking about a guy that's volatile in Jerry Jones. You think he comes across that way? He's kept this guy there for a long time now. I also would say Pittsburgh. How many people in the last couple of years said Pittsburgh should fire Mike Tomlin? Probably a lot.
Yeah.
Probably a lot. Right, with all the mess going on there. I haven't won a Super Bowl, I think, or been to a Super Bowl since 2009 in Pittsburgh. That's a long time. Mm-hmm. Well, now all of a sudden, Mike Tomlin, everybody's praising him this year for the job he's doing. John Harbaugh, another guy who looked to be on his way out in Baltimore. Look what they've done. So I'm not advocating and telling you have to stay through it, but the folks that do stay through it sometimes get rewarded on the other side for staying through it. And there's 2 different ways to view it. You stick through it, you keep with the consistency, because changing all the time is too much change in a building.
Yeah.
And I think Shad Khan wants to subscribe to that theory. That's my view from this side of it. And that's what he showed. He stuck with Gus Bradley probably for a year more than anybody else wanted to. But he said, we're going to see if we can make this happen here. It's better than changing. again, I'm not telling you he's right in that. He's actually been proven wrong in that. That wasn't the right move. Maybe they should have gotten rid of this regime after last year. Maybe he's not right. But I'm telling you, that looks to be his philosophy, and I think that changes in the NFL. Some people get rid of coaches quick. Some people stick through it and try to get through the muddy water so they can build their cultures and whatever else and give them enough time to do things. Time's running out on Doug Marrone, this coach. Is there any part of you that believes Doug Marrone can survive this now, and the staff? When I say Doug Marrone, I mean the entire staff. And we'll talk front office in a different way, but I'm talking about the coaching staff right now. Can they survive 4-7 the way they've lost in November and rally somehow in the month of December?
First of all, the Steelers, they did go to the Super Bowl back in 2011. They played Green Bay.
Oh, it was 11. Is it 9 that they won it?
9 they won it 2011. Yep, no, you're good. Just a little correction. But so, can they manage their jobs? Can they somehow salvage this season? In my opinion, absolutely not. No. I think the writing's on the wall, which makes this a little more frustrating to me from the standpoint of, let's be honest, you're not going to the playoffs, okay? The playoffs are done. Leonard Fournette then came out yesterday and said,
"Yeah, he basically was talking past tense about this season with 5 to go."
And you know what? Good for him, because I think everybody can see the playoffs are done. The Jaguars are not going to the playoffs this year, except that. So if that's the case, then
what if?
Sorry, no, you're good. Here comes the sunshine and rainbows. Like I thought Brent was done with that, and I thought Nick Foles took over as CEO of Sunshine and Rainbows.
I was just kidding.
Now
Sunshine and Rainbows.
Exactly. Now Brent's back in the pole position. That's cool.
Nick Foles is now the owner.
He's the owner. He's the CEO, owner, and president. But so to me, no, Brent, and that's kind of the frustrating thing, is the fact that, let's be honest, all the Jaguars have to play for now is, I guess, trying to evaluate the talent going forward. You know, because now you really have to look at, who do you have on your roster, who is expendable, as bad as that sounds, but you have to start evaluating that as well, because you have a big draft ahead of you. There's a lot of draft picks ahead of you, a lot of draft capital ahead of you. So you have to start doing your due diligence now and seeing, all right, who's going to be a Jaguar going forward? Who's going to buy into the new culture that will be set up by the next head coach and things of that nature? And from my standpoint, once again, I just don't see, if you don't have the playoffs to win, or to at least have a goal towards, what's the point in not making a change then? What are you trying to stick on to? Just the fact that it's the holidays, you don't want to let anybody go?
Nah, I think it's less that. I think the philosophy has been, I remember this from the Gus conversation, okay? So I'm just talking about with Shad Khan and what he's kind of hinted at in the past, and that's all we have to draw from, right? I mean, he fired Mike Mularkey and Gene Smith and did the whole regime change after that first year, but the Gus one was more like this, because there were a few years and now the season had gone south and you knew the end was coming. And he did fire Gus Bradley, I think, with 2 games to go in the season. But I think there was some talk that why not at the bye? Why not here? And again, this is something they subscribe to. I'm not trying to tell you this is what works, but this is what they think works. And I think across the NFL, there is a belief by some that if you fire midseason, or you fire with 5-6 games to go, then you're going to get an initial bump for a week, but it really doesn't change anything. It doesn't make a difference at the end of the day. And so why not just keep and try to figure it out with what you've got and let it run out? Again, I'm not telling you that's right, but I remember those conversations from the Gus Bradley end, and that was kind of the tone of the conversation. So my point is, I don't think Shad Khan, he's going to go through everything he can before firing somebody, the head coach, midstream. I just think that's the way it's going to go. That's not to be said that it couldn't happen. But I think that's the way he's thinking first and foremost, and it's a last resort. South Beach Gary's on the line right now before we head to a break. What's up, man?
I hate to say I told you guys so before the season started, but I told you guys so.
Well, here's the deal, Gary. This is what I love about I told you so guys at the start of the season. Everybody, the NFL is an 8-8 league. And so if you want to tell me that a team's not going to make the playoffs, well, guess what? You're probably going to be right most times than not, because it's an 8-8 league, especially if you don't have Tom Brady or one of those kind of quarterbacks. So I'm not saying it's like you're wrong. I can't believe it. Yeah, you're sure you did. No, you're probably right. And next year you should probably tell us the same thing. And for the next 5 years, I'll probably tell you the same thing about the Dolphins, because I'll probably be right. Because it's hard to win and go to the playoffs unless you have the Bradys and this organization that's already built, or you have a really lucky good year like the Jags did in 2017. That's just the way it proves out.
Well, Brent, why did you give me the lecture then? Why did you say 10-6 on TV that the Jags were going 10-6?
Because I'm a positive guy. I said 9-7, Gary. I said 9-7.
Gary, were you the guy that bet us that the Dolphins would have a better record than the Jacksonville Jaguars this season?
There's no such thing.
Yes, you did.
I never said the Dolphins were going to the playoffs this year. I knew they were rebuilding. What I said was the Dolphins weren't going winless.
You said the Dolphins were going to have a better season than the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, I didn't.
We're going to have to rewind that tape. All right, keep going anyway.
It's preseason. I guarantee you said it.
You're right. The Jags, you told us so.
But Austin, you're saying that the Dolphins and the Herbert pick, what about the offensive line? They got more than one first-round pick, Austin. They have three first-round picks.
The Dolphins you're talking about here?
Take Herbert and rebuild your offensive line with 3 first-rounders, 2 seconds, free agents, and the tons of free agency money that the Dolphins have. If they draft Herbert, that doesn't preclude them from getting an offensive line.
Very cool. So can you give me a coach that's come from Bill Belichick that's actually had success in the NFL? And maybe you can tell me Bill O'Brien, but to be fair, Bill O'Brien's been 1-3 in the playoffs. Name me one coach that's come from the Bill Belichick tree that's had success in the NFL.
What's that got to do with anything?
Because that's the Dolphins head coach right now, is a coach from the Bill Belichick family tree.
Austin, the Celtics never lost a Game 7 at home till the Celtics beat them at a Game 7 at home years ago. They went through 70 years of never losing a Game 7 at home. There's firsts all the time in sports.
All right, what else you got on the Jags? Anything, Gary?
Doesn't work. Doesn't mean it's set for life. It's in concrete. It's written in stone because one thing happens. What?
Can you name me one coach out of about 12 coaches that have coached in the NFL from Bill Belichick's system? Has any of them been successful?
Well, Bill O'Brien's been relatively successful.
I think 1-3 in the playoffs. I don't think that's really successful. He's been about 500 for the Houston Texans. I wouldn't call that successful.
They whipped the Jaguars' butt twice this year.
Yes, they did.
And the Jaguars aren't good right now. That's fantastic.
All right.
Can you answer my question?
Hey, we got to run to a break. Right. Thanks, South Beach Gary, for jumping in. Now, when we come, speaking of a coach, Adam, I was thinking of this. This is what's not. Do we think Adam Gase is a good coach? Is it going to work out in New York? Don't have a good feeling.
No,
right?
I don't have a good feeling. No,
I have a terrible feeling about it. But in the same stretch of football where the Jets were lost, they have no reason to play for anything. They didn't have everything in front of them. I think that would be a tough thing to swallow for me if I'm Shad Khan and just looking at this thing from afar. Yeah. The Jaguars were 4-4 with everything in front of them in their division. And by the way, these are not the San Francisco 49ers, Green Bay Packers. They are not the Minnesota Vikings, New Orleans Saints, the New England Patriots, the Kansas City Chiefs in this division. And so they had average teams in the division. Meanwhile, you look at the Jets the last few weeks and what they're doing, they somehow have found themselves. Why can't this team right around the corner at Jags headquarters find themselves at a critical time in November? Yet a team like the Jets, who are playing for nothing and have a miserable season, are now tied with the Jags at 4-7.
Yeah.
That would eat at me a little bit if I'm just looking at a couple of things across the league, because I don't think Gase is very good.
No.
I don't think they're going many places with Gase. But even with that guy and the crazy eyes, they've been able to correct their season. The Jaguars can't fix a damn thing right now. That's very concerning. I'm going to talk more about it, including the quarterback spot. Foles or Minshew? Foles or Minshew? Well, it's going to be Foles. And I know you can't be happy about that. Jacksonville, star 690 904 362 9901. Brett Martineau, Austin Lane, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. It's another miserable Monday, but thanks for hanging with us. Thanksgiving week, everybody.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
We are having some fun at RV City. Austin just had to go move our vehicles.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, and I probably would have been back a little sooner with Marty here, but unfortunately there was a group of about 15 to 20 middle-aged women feeling the need to do like the Cupid shuffle right in front of where I was trying to park. I had to get a police escort to literally move these ladies out of the way.
Catch Brett and Austin weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 or ESPN690.com.
New flavors and a rating that would make men jealous. Hey, everyone, this is Austin Lane.
And I'm Brett Martineau. Vita de Louis recently got a 98 rating. It's new, and it's getting rave reviews.
Made in Tequila, Mexico, and shipped directly to Jax Beach. Vita de Louis is available in 3 flavors.
And those flavors are Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. Try all three. Make your own recipes with Vida de Luis Tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste. For merchandise and more, visit VitaDeLuis.com. The holidays are on the horizon, and that means family and food. Hey, everybody, I'm Brent Martineau. Let Renna's Pizza help you out. Parties at school, parties at work, celebrations, or hey, maybe you're just tired of cooking yourself. Renna's has you covered with 5 locations in Northeast Florida. Want a fresh one? Renna's makes everything fresh. New York-style pizza, sandwiches, salads, pasta dishes, everything fresh. Find out why Renna's has been a family favorite for over 40 years. 5 locations in Northeast Florida, Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you've received a letter from the IRS and can't pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank account, garnish your wages, and place liens against everything you own. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you, and fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. Get the protection you deserve. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
We love our pets. Our furry little friends mean so much to us that we want nothing but the best. At Forever Vets Animal Hospital, we feel the same way too. Forever Vets Animal Hospital understands that you have busy schedules. That's why we're open 7 days a week and have extended hours during the work week. In case you have an emergency, remember, stay calm and call Forever Vets Animal Hospital with 6 convenient locations throughout Jacksonville and St. Augustine. Forever Vets Animal Hospital is here for you and your pet. First-time customers receive a free pet exam from one of our highly trained veterinarians. We also offer wellness plans that fit everyone's budget. Forever Vets Animal Hospital makes life easy for you and your pet. Go to forevervets.com to schedule an appointment. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets healthy and happy forever.
Your help means everything. For more than 3 million children around the world, malnutrition is a real issue. This giving season, we're hoping you will make change for children. With your help, you'll see how one small act can create a ripple of change for children, their families, their communities, and the future we all share. Learn more at SaveTheChildren.org. Save the Children. Changing a life lasts a lifetime.
Shop the 904. When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our own community.
Check out cool stores like Jacksonville's own Video Game Rescue, a locally owned video game store that features new and hard-to-find retro video games, vintage toys, and they even have a game room with a bunch of classic games and pinball machines. If you have a gamer on your holiday gift list, you will find something perfect for them at Video Game Rescue on Blanding Boulevard.
Shop the 904. Powered by Cox Media Group. Visit shopthe904.com.
Now through December 2nd, Arlington Toyota is going to keep Mega Black Friday savings going strong. How mega? How about paying 50% less on remaining 2019s? And that's on top of the already incredible Toyotathon markdowns. How about a 2019 Toyota Camry? It's not $19,745. Now it's only $15,581. That's $15,581 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Camry at Arlington. Gotta have a 2019 RAV4? It's not $22,925. Nope. Now it's just $19,481. Just $19,481 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota RAV4 XLE. At Arlington. This Black Friday, you can even register to win a $500 gift card from Arlington. Plus, you'll get all the rewards and benefits of the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club with your purchase. Pay up to 50% less now through December 2nd during Black Friday savings at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Black Friday for offer details.
Good morning, class. A quick head count. Tiffany.
Here.
Zach.
Yup.
Steven. Is he absent again?
For many kids, just getting to school feels like a challenge. Staying through graduation is even harder. That's where Communities in Schools comes in. a powerful community of caring adults, working with vulnerable kids in schools every day, helping them overcome the barriers that stand in the way of learning, hunger, homelessness, health problems, and even emotional trauma. Communities in schools. We're inside schools partnering with teachers and counselors, empowering at-risk kids by providing supportive relationships, doing whatever it takes to help them thrive in school and have brighter futures. Communities in schools. We're in schools to help kids stay in school. See how we help all kids succeed at communitiesinschools.org.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick & Wingo. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. Clearly, it's because I'm on every morning from 6 till 10 a.m. But this isn't about me. It's about your business. Get your business noticed today. First Coast is making the switch to ESPN 690, and there's no better time to get on our team than right now. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
Golick and Wingo.
I totally understand it. They need to find out down the stretch of this season whether or not Nick Foles is going to be the guy they thought he was going to be when they paid him the money.
Golick and Wingo. Weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
I'm NASCAR champion Kurt Busch, and you're listening to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Good thing we paid multi-millions for a backup quarterback. Shake my head.
Star 690, the place to voice your displeasure during Sundays or any day of the week, and there were plenty of them. We'll get to more.
Nice to use the button there, Coos.
Yeah, 904-362-9901. We have a couple calls on the line. We'll get to them. Hey, we said this a long time ago. We'll take your calls at days like this, and more than welcome to jump in. Got a lot of feedback on social media. I'll try to get to some of those as well. And well, we got the next few days. I'm not sure we'll get through everything today, but we'll try like heck to do it. And the next part of the conversation becomes Nick Foles and Gardner Minshew. Before I get to the lines, and some of them are about Foles, Austin, where are you on Foles right now? Not where's everybody else and where's social media and all that. But I know you were a Minshew guy. Stick with Minshew. Mm-hmm. So what you also have to do here is take yourself out of, hey, I knew it. I was right. I told you so, guy. But it's been 2 games and a quarter for Foles this season. What do you think right now? Would you push another button right now? Do you have to let it play out right now?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the line.
No. Here. So here's... Oh, man. Okay. I remember that the dumb button's available. Listen, so... With the whole Nick Foles...
Stay close, Coos.
I know. With the whole Nick Foles and Minshew thing, yeah, I was an advocate to keep Minshew going because I thought that you had to keep on cultivating, keep on developing. Because, listen, he's a rookie quarterback, and he's putting up some pretty good numbers. So I wanted to see where that got you. Okay, fine, whatever. You bring back Foles, I get it. If you're Doug Marrone, you feel the most comfortable going with Foles in London. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it was in Indianapolis. To try to win a ball game. Okay. You put the ball in his hands more than you should have, all right? You completely abandoned the running game, and you said basically, you know what? Foles is going to come out here, and he's going to beat the Colts because we think he's that good. Well, guess what? He wasn't that good, and he didn't play that good. So now let's fast forward to Tennessee. And the run game, for the most part, I thought the run game was working a little bit, Brent. I thought I saw a push for the first time that I've seen in a long time where you're getting the consistent 5-yard, 6-yard gains from Fournette, which you don't really see. Usually you're seeing Fournette maybe get stopped in the line of scrimmage and all of a sudden he breaks a 70-yard run, okay? But they were getting some consistent run. Well, then you use that to
first
set up
drive
the
was a good
pass.
drive.
Yeah, you use that to set up the pass. But guess what? And take the garbage minutes out of it, take the garbage time out of it.
You got to take anything after midway through the third quarter almost out of this game.
Yeah, I'm saying from what I saw, it was another horrible game from Foles. And like I said, if you're not playing for the playoffs, because you're not anymore, the playoffs are done, so kiss those goodbye. What are you hanging on to right now by trying to have Nick Foles still be your quarterback? I think at least with Minshew, where you can keep on seeing what he's got. You can keep on getting him reps because at the end of the day, he's a rookie, and rookies need reps. So you can't save the season, obviously, because the season's over as far as I'm concerned, but at least you can kind of evaluate more talent and see what you have at the rookie quarterback position.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a different thought, a little more context on that in just a moment. But let's, before we do that, get to DJ on the line. Welcome in your calls on a Monday. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. What's up, DJ?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Hey, man, this Nick Foles Minshew thing, man, I was with you, Austin, about keeping Minshew, the development, because I didn't think Nick Foles earned the right to come in. This situation is different from the New Orleans Saints, meaning everybody knew Drew Brees was the leader of that team. Nick Foles didn't earn the right to be. So through those games that Minshew played, he earned those stripes. You understand? So the game just looked with Foles in the last 2 weeks. He was supposed to be the guy to stop the bleeding. You remember last year? We just need a guy to stop the bleeding. He's not that guy, and I don't think they mix together right now because, like you said, he missed the preseason. Like, he just doesn't have the camaraderie with the guys, the togetherness, and Minshew had that. You understand? And Brett, I disagree with you because I remember you said it was good that we had two quarterbacks, and I think that's the bad way because, like you say, Doug Marrone is not putting Minshew in. But you're gonna mess up his growth and his development. So come next year with that cap hit and all that, then you ain't gonna have Nick Foles, the highest paid backup in the NFL, right? No, you're not. So it's like, man, it's a real bad situation that you probably stumped this man's growth. Somebody's gonna have to get traded.
All right, DJ, I appreciate the call, man. Thanks for checking in. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Listen. I guess here's where I am. Let's stop with Foles for a second and the Minshew mindset. And I understand the stunting of the growth. But if Gardner Minshew plays next year, and there's some concern, by the way, there's some thought that in that Houston game he was banged up. Okay, so he's not even 100% healthy going into the bye week. That's definitely a thought. He's made the injury report a few times in his first couple months as the quarterback. So how healthy he was, maybe there was more to it. You never know those kind of things, right? Yeah. But how much is this really going to stunt his growth?
It's hard to say, Brent, because we haven't seen a lot of this.
What I'm asking you is it a bit of a play to, and I don't mind it as a defense mechanism, it might be reality, but is it more of, this is how I'm defending, I'm wanting Minshew in, because that's going to stunt his growth? He played 8-9 games in his rookie year, more than he ever thought he'd see. Got some good experience, some bad experience. If he comes back in 2020, wins the job, is the guy moving forward. And is this 5, 6, 7 weeks going to make a difference in his career? I don't know if I can get there.
I look at it from this perspective, and listen, I was all aboard the Foles train during the free agency and everything, and they're trying to find a quarterback. And I said I thought Nick Foles gave you the best chance to win. So I was all about the Jaguars getting Nick Foles. I didn't want Dwayne Haskins. I wanted a Super Bowl MVP, okay? And listen, I've given Nick Foles stats before during those seasons at the Eagles, and they don't really knock your socks off, okay? No. But something you couldn't see, obviously, is the leadership that he we assume, in Philadelphia, because all the players said he was a great leader, and he led him to the Super Bowl. Good on him. But, let's take Joe Flacco, for example, real quick, in Denver right now. Joe Flacco, another Super Bowl MVP, goes to Denver. And he gets hurt. They decide to deactivate him for the season, and now he's done. Do you mean to tell me if Joe Flacco was healthy this year, these last 4 or 5 games, that he would have came back and started over even – who's the quarterback right now? Brandon Allen? I don't think so. I think eventually you see the writing on the wall, and I get it. Brandon Allen's like a 3-year vet right now, but I think they're still intrigued by Brandon Allen as opposed to Joe Flacco, who kind of showed you what he had. Now,
they're in a little bit different place.
Well, and I'm getting to that. So the difference is the fact that Foles has been hurt. Right, yeah. Foles has been out, and you don't really know what you got.
I'm saying win-loss rise, they were in a different place too.
I got you. I guess my point is the fact that with Foles getting hurt, you don't really know what you had. All we have to go off of right now, and take the Kansas City game out of it. Good, he had one good pass, but okay. I mean,
well, you had 10 plays. There's not much to go on.
Exactly.
Good or bad.
Okay, but like I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here, Brent, because if I wanted to, I could say, well, that was a loss for him against Kansas City.
That's fine, yeah.
But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say he's lost 2 games so far. He's 0-2 right now as the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback. And these are against defenses, to be fair, that they're passing defense.
Yeah.
No. I mean, Indianapolis is horrible, man. I'm sorry. They had both their starting corners out the second half of that game. They're not that good. And Tennessee, they're middle of the pack. Like, he's not going against elite defenses here. But people want to bring up the point, well, Minshew didn't play against anybody either. Well, I don't think Foles really played against that elite defense either, but whatever the reason is. So I guess my point is the fact that, once again, there's nothing to gain this season. Okay? Like, the playoffs are done. I just don't understand why you wouldn't keep on putting Minshew out there to at least see what he's got. Because I'll tell you what, if you want a quarterback battle next year, which you're probably going to get, obviously, the last thing you want is Nick Foles keep on coming out here and having bad game after bad game after bad game. Because let's assume that Minshew does win the starting quarterback position next year. Do you think any team's going to want to trade for Nick Foles after watching these past 2 games? I wouldn't trade for Nick Foles.
Probably not. Let's go to Michelle on the line from Ohio, actually. Big game this week. Ohio State at Michigan. We'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow with Jason Fitz. Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Great, thank you.
Before I get my comment, I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, you too.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Appreciate you watching from Ohio on the stream, too. Thank you.
Yeah, well, my name's Ruby James on there. But my comment is I am ready for next season. Let's just clean the front house already, start thinking about next season. And I've got an idea for our coach next year. If let's say if Doug gets fired and some reason Ron Rivera gets fired from the Panthers, which I've been hearing rumors about, I say we go get Ron Rivera for next year.
All right. I appreciate the comment. Thanks, Michelle. Happy Thanksgiving to you, and thanks for watching on the stream from Ohio. Appreciate it. Well, that'll be, we're not there yet in terms of who's replacing this staff. Let's let it happen. But interesting comment on if Ron Rivera and they kind of move on from him. He's in a similar situation, I think, as some of these guys that have done stuff. But what have you done for me lately? And are we going to move on and hit the reset button? Some of, Marvin Lewis, they played with that for a long time and held on. But again, I think the Tomlins and Harbaughs were also in that situation a little bit, kind of what have you done for me lately? And they stuck with it, and now it's working out. So, again, 2 different ways to look at it. So I think it's all coming in terms of the staff. I think it's inevitable almost at this point. But let's circle back on Foles and Minshew. I don't think Foles looks good. I don't think my overall thought of watching the Jaguars play with Foles rather than Minshew.
What's that?
Is they look slow. Like it feels like a slow offense. Like with Minshew, I don't know. And again, this could be total perception. Like I don't think people's 40 times didn't slow down on the receivers. Yeah. It just looks first of all, Minshew was getting them up and down the field. They were struggling to get in the end zone a lot, but they were going up and down the field. And I think because of his legs and moving, it made it feel like there was stuff going on. It looked so methodical. The ball's floating. The little it's a nice touch pass here or there sometimes from Foles, but that thing's just hanging up in the air on those screen passes or when he has to get rid of it and dump it. Like nothing is fast. Nothing. The balls look like they're underthrown. Right? I mean, he was questioned about his arm strength a little bit yesterday from Doug Marrone and Foles. They say no, but there are times where it's like, wait a minute. Now, that doesn't look like he's zipping it in there. Then there are other times where it has some zip. But overall, my feeling just watching it is, man, they look so much slower. It just looks old and lethargic and whatever, where it didn't look like. And I think that's the point of a lot of people. It's like they're not saying that Gardner Minshew is going to win 5 Super Bowl MVPs in his career. Not yet. Maybe they hope, but they're not saying that. I think they're just saying it was so much more fun to watch. Even scoring 3 points was more fun than watching 13 points with Foles' offense in a strange way. And I understand their point. I get that side of it. I do think once I said this before when we talked about this for a few weeks before they pushed a button on Foles. I said if Minshew, remember everything for me hinged on that Houston game. If they had won, I thought they would have stuck with Minshew for another week. Because my thought was once you make the Foles button and you push that button, you can't go back. And I still believe that. I don't think they can go back. They made this guy their franchise quarterback from the offseason on. And they said, hey, you were hurt, but we need you. We're going to lean on you. We think you're the best man for the job coming back. They are not going to change that. Now, Doug Marrone talked a little bit about it today. Could they eventually go back to Minshew? As we kind of hinted maybe in the last game or something like that. I think he left that door open. But they feel like, now I think they're just saying this, they feel like their best chance to win is with Foles. I think it's more than that. I think it's the semantics of it all and saying, we made this decision, we're sticking with it. And whether he wasn't ready, whether he's more rusty than we thought, whether all those things are in play, we're sticking with it. We made our bet, and we're sticking with it. And so I think that's the way it's going. I don't know if I would pull the trigger on it right now and go back to Minshew either. I think I would probably wait another game or so. This thing is done. I mean, it's done either way. But I think as much as people want to find out about Minshew, they've got $88 million invested in Foles. I need to find a little bit more out about Nick Foles, too.
All right, well, let me ask you this then. Let's say Nick Foles comes out against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and has another bad game, three games in a row. Then you're going against a defense that's ranked number right now 31st in pass defense. The Titans were ranked number 24 in pass defense, and the Colts are number 17. So if Nick Foles comes out this Sunday and plays horrible again, can you justify putting him out there for another week, or is it time to go back to Minshew?
Yeah, it probably would be time to go back. So I guess that even maybe diffutes a little bit of what I said. I just think you got to find a little something that you have. Another thought on Foles, and I don't want to give him an out here because I don't think he's playing well. But is it as bad as we're all making it out to be, or does everybody have the Minshew agenda? And if you're a new coach coming in, who you going with as you look at 2020? Minshew or Foles? Let's answer that next on ESPN 690.
If you've been thinking about LASIK and are tired of wearing glasses, we invite you to visit Maida Custom Vision at Florida Eye Specialists. Hi, my name is Akbar Hassan, and I am proud to be a member of the best team of LASIK surgeons in Northeast Florida. I first came to Jacksonville in 2002 after completing my LASIK fellowship at Duke. I served as lead LASIK surgeon at the Mayo Clinic for over 10 years before partnering with LASIK surgeons Dr. Amit Choksi and Dr. Jerry Maida. Our combined surgical experience of over 25,000 LASIK cases simply cannot be beat. At Maida Custom Vision, our team of fellowship-trained surgeons and dedicated staff is committed to providing the highest quality LASIK. We're proud to offer LASIK with the most advanced and safest technology. We believe when it involves our eyes, nothing but the best will do. Come see why thousands of patients have chosen us for their own eyes and their families. Please call 268-EYES or check us out on the web at maidalaser.com. Why wait when you can have a lifetime of great vision ahead of you? Come visit Maida Custom Vision at Florida Eye Specialists. We're the official eye care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's time for some straight talk. You know those football players who are all talk, no show? Well, big wireless carriers aren't much different. Well, Straight Talk Wireless doesn't give you the hype, just the savings. For just $45 a month, you'll get the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. No contract. All on the same 4G LTE networks as the big guys, but up to half the cost. Savings delivered right to your wallet. Only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
In search of a battery that won't let you down, even in the lowest temperatures? We've got you covered at America's #1 battery destination. At AutoZone, we have the proven tough Duralast batteries you need to drive with peace of mind this winter. They're tested in extreme conditions, which means you can count on them to deliver when you need them most. Stop in today or visit AutoZone.com, and we'll help you find the start you're looking for. Based on data from the NPD Group Incorporated, Car Care tracked 12 months ending December 2018.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
By Jones believes ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum.
And I promise you, instead of being focused on the Bills and Thanksgiving Day game, they're worried about their jobs. Jerry Jones should hold Jason Garrett accountable 100%. Don't do it after the game. Do it behind closed doors. Tell them what's wrong. Tell them if this doesn't change, we all know what could happen. But to do it publicly, I don't think that serves the organization as effectively as possible.
Mike Tannenbaum on Golick and Wingo. NFC East leading Dallas up a game on Philadelphia. Further testing on Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz's throwing hand revealed a bruised middle finger, shouldn't miss any practice time, and he should play in Miami Sunday. Bengals going back to Andy Dalton as their starting QB. Winless Cincinnati's lost the last 3 games with rookie Ryan Finley under center.
Great news. There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Brent Martineau,
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane,
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Everyone at the front office needs to go, and I'm going to say everyone who's coaching this team needs to go. It's like we don't even prepare for a team each week. Marone needs to go. I even want DiFilippo out. I want Walsh out. I want everyone out. Coughlin, Caldwell, get them all out. Whole new staff next season, whole new front office. Minshew starting next season. Draft a defensive tackle. Draft a linebacker. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe we gave Foles $88 million. I will never get over that.
That's the call on Star 690, leaving a message. And
that guy's defeated, man.
Listen, defeated,
He's
but also
defeated.
with answers. See, I like that. He not only said, okay, fire everybody, which is what everybody says, because that's the easiest thing to do, and it makes us all feel better if everybody loses their job, right?
I
yes.
mean, well, okay. I mean, for me personally, I don't want to see guys get. I mean, I've been fired. It's not fun from the
understand.
NFL. But
I'm not saying
things
you,
need to be-
but
okay.
I'm saying we in society. It makes the best thing that could happen yesterday after that game.
Yeah.
The thing that would make you smile more at the water cooler is if the entire coaching staff stayed in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, as
That's
far as
just
I'm
the way-
concerned, it's a performance-based business, and the Jaguars are not performing.
Yeah,
Simple
but
as that.
I like that calls. He had some answers, right? He said in terms of drafting some folks and you know what maybe to do. So and everybody's got ideas. Even before the football game yesterday, I was talking to people all weekend long, and everybody's got the fix, a different fix. It's amazing, which shows you how hard it is, I think, at times, and then also shows you. I think there's a feel around here for me that they have some decent players on this football team. That they have some talent. We've talked about it multiple times. But then there are games like these last 3 weeks, and you're like, holy cow, maybe I'm dead wrong. Maybe they have nobody that's good. Maybe they're just not good. Because, again, I am trying to find a player that stood out other than Leonard Fournette was good. A couple weeks ago it was DJ Chark. I mean, we're talking about a couple of players here or there. That is it. I was
Rambo.
looking. The punter has been very good, Logan Cook.
Yeah. Pro Bowl, Logan
I've been
Cook.
waiting for. I said it Friday, I think it was. What will give this team a spark? Still didn't notice number 44 on the field.
No, but
Still didn't notice him.
And I said the defensive line, and no, defensive line once again. I mean, yeah, Jan had a strip sack.
Yeah, that was a big play.
Hashtag pay Jan.
That was a big
here
play.
we are again. But I'm not going to talk about that because I've been talking about that since nauseum. But I guess I guess the most frustrating thing for me, and I'm talking from a defensive perspective here. The Houston game where they gave all that rushing, okay, Houston's and I'm not trying to give him an excuse here, but Houston's a very dynamic offense when they're clicking. Now, sometimes they don't click. They clicked against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they can be dynamic. So are they going to run? Are they going to pass? I get that. But to travel to Indy where you know exactly what they're going to do, they're going to use their offensive line and pound the rock with Marlon Mack or Williams then who came in. And you knew what the case was in Tennessee too. And yeah, with Ryan Tannehill, maybe they opened the play action up a little bit, and that was great. Corey Davis was back, yada, yada, yada. BS. They were going to run the ball, and you knew that. And the worst part is you knew it, and you couldn't stop it. I guarantee Todd Wash was, in those meetings saying, we got to stop Derrick Henry. We got to stop Derrick Henry. And you know what, Brent? They couldn't do it. So to me, that's the frustrating part is when you know a team's going to do something and you still can't stop it. So now here's the question. Is it a talent thing or do they have pieces that they can use going forward? And listen, we're talking about, especially the defensive line. You're talking about Avery Jones. I mean, Avery Jones, I think, is still a pretty young guy, all things considered. I get he's the oldest bedded Jaguar. But what they're asking him to do, I think he still deserves to stick around. I think the biggest part right now is Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell yesterday, I thought he looked a little slow. I'll be honest with you. And this is the Calais Campbell that's playing his big end spot. This is the guy who's back at home where he belongs. Not playing that 3 technique. I'm talking about playing that big end spot. And yesterday, I saw Calais Campbell bite on 2 bootlegs, and Tannehill scored on the one, and the other one was a pretty long gain. So... yeah, I think you have a good guy in Josh Allen, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think it's crucial. I mean, it is absolutely crucial. And I'll say it again. Here we are at nauseam again. You have to pay Yannick Ngakoue. You have to lock him up for the future, because going forward now, assuming this whole defense gets blown up and a new philosophy comes in, you at least need some old parts from the old regime to stick around, and Yannick Ngakoue has to be one of those guys.
He is a guy that continued. That was a big play at the moment. It was 7-3. They were in the red zone. That was a big play at the moment. So he made a huge play, and then obviously flipped off the Titans. That wasn't a good moment. But
I call that passion, Brent. No,
yeah. I mean, listen,
kidding.
honestly, I don't have a problem with it, but there's nothing nice to say about that.
No,
you can't do that.
Not a good look.
When are the Jaguars going to realize, from the Ramsey incident to that there are cameras in the NFL and a lot of them, okay? There are a lot. They watch everything. Big Brother's watching.
Brent, I'm going to be honest.
I know you don't care in that moment. I wouldn't either.
When getting beat that bad.
Honestly, I wouldn't either.
I don't think you care anymore.
I get it. You get to that point where you don't care. I get it. I believe me, I understand that. I mean, I think if you've done anything, there's a time when you just don't care who's watching whatever, even if you know you're in the spotlight.
Sure.
And you sometimes get to that point. And so I get it. I get a little bit of that. Brendan's on the line. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Thanks for calling, man. Thanks for listening. What's up?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Big fan. I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but Doug Marrone and the whole staff, it's just got to be all replaced. They've done too many things that I think anywhere else they would have been fired last year. I mean, 2017 bought them some time. But if you look at 2017 also, there was the same stuff, like games where they didn't show up, Arizona, San Francisco. And was that more, that 10-6 record, was that more because Deshaun Watson and Andrew Luck were hurt? I mean, yeah, once they got in the playoffs, they did some really good things. And I honestly, like everyone knows, like the Jags should have won that game. Like they got hosed. But they have just too many mistakes, like from the Allen Robinson situation, signing Marquise Lee, letting Allen Robinson go. And ever since Lee got re-signed, we haven't seen him. The whole Bortles situation, giving him, that big deal, and then now that screwed the cap up. And then now with this Nick Foles thing, it looks like that's going to hurt our cap going forward, and it doesn't look like he's going to be our starter, so that's going to set us back even more. You re-signed Miles Jack, which I think he's good. I mean, he's had a bad year, but, I mean, I think Jan and Ramsey should have been the priority there. I mean, trading Ramsey. I mean, he wasn't going to play, so they had to trade him, but it was their fault it got to that situation in the first place. And then Marrone,
go ahead.
Wash, he should have been fired. He shouldn't even have been left over from the Bradley era. I mean, his defense has just been underwhelming. It seems like he runs the same schemes over and over. I mean, our team's always the most penalized, after the whistle, always, getting in fights, 15-yard penalties are like a regular thing. It's just like, I've been a Jag fan my whole life, and this is as most frustrating as any other year. I mean, we've had some bad years, but we have the talent right now. We have talent on offense. We have talent on defense. It's just, it seems like we're wasting away all this talent. And we still don't have Ngakoue re-signed. I mean, he's a cornerstone player. I mean, you're going to draft these good players. You shouldn't just let them, get away. I mean.
Yeah.
Did we lose him there? All right, Brendan, thanks for the call. Appreciate it, man. I think we lost you somehow in there, but he brings up a lot of things about the coach staff. Here's the thing: I think I think you got to measure it against other teams, right? Against other people. And I watched San Francisco play last night, and so everybody who says something about the Todd Wash, Gus Bradley scheme, I watched Gus Bradley and the Chargers. absolutely shut down your guy, Aaron Rodgers from Wisconsin.
My guy?
He's just from Wisconsin. He's a Wisconsin guy.
He's from
Green Bay.
California, but yeah, he plays for Green Bay.
He's Green Bay. But
okay.
I just want you to say something bad about Rodgers so all the people in Wisconsin.
People get upset about me?
They just want to throw snowballs at you when you go home for Christmas.
I picked the 49ers in the six-pack, and that panned out pretty well for me.
Did. Thanks a lot, Rodgers.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Stink.
Yep.
By the way. Anyway, so they shut him down, and then San Francisco shuts him down, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same scheme, right? I mean, they're not. It's a similar scheme, and you have mail, Coos.
Thanks.
So it takes good players. So good players, well, then that goes back to the front office. Does it take good coaching? Are they being coached up better in those spots? Well, then that does go back to Todd Wash. All those things. Now, the Jaguars are getting exposed with some of these young guys because A.J. Boye brought it up yesterday after the game. He said, listen, we see these plays in practice, and we're in the right spot. We get out here, and I'm looking over there, and the guy's not there. I got to believe he's talking about either Quincy Williams, Wingard, or Trey Herndon. I mean, it has to be who he's talking about. Yeah. And those are just young guys. But I'm not even saying that's an excuse. I mean, they got to be coached up to play in the right spot or they shouldn't be playing. Yeah. And if there are incidents like that, they shouldn't be playing on Sundays in the NFL until they figure it out. So that goes back to coaching. I agree. I mean, again, this last 3 weeks, if you take it in totality, who they played against, what they did, what was on the line, what they did not fix, it does go back to coaching. So all you folks that have said coaching since day one, I'm with you. I mean, I get this is on them. This is now on them. This is on the whole philosophy of Doug Marrone, as I said at the top of the show, was, hey, we're going to take care of you guys this year. I'm going to go tell that other guy down the hallway who loves to play a lot of people in the preseason, who loves to go to two-a-days if we could do two-a-days still. Who loves to say the word grit. I'm going to say, hey, these guys need to be ready to go for later in the year. I'm going to take care of you. Yeah. Well, he took care of them to 4-4, and I'm going to hope you guys respond. Well, he didn't respond. You know what? Well, that falls back on the guy who tried to take care of him with that philosophy, and Marrone's plan backfired. And that's where we're at. It's as simple as that. This month showed that.
And the biggest thing for me, if you watch the San Francisco 49ers last night, it was the fundamentals. Like, the defensive line was where they're supposed to be. They had great steps, good hand placement. Like, it's nothing. This isn't rocket science here to how to stop the run, Brent. But once again, what are we talking about? How many times did I bring up, even in training camp, that Taven Bryan's got to work on his steps? Okay? Well, that 70-yard run, a lot of it had to do with Taven Bryan.
Did.
Now, I don't know, because honestly,
they got a good push on that play.
But I was so baffled on that play. I didn't know if Taven Bryan was taking a pirate step in and going to the A gap, and Miles Jack was supposed to go off him and go to the B. That's what it looked like because he got reached so bad. I don't think that was the case because Miles Jack didn't even back him up. So from that standpoint, it falls on Taven Bryan on that long run for Derrick Henry. Once again, that just comes down to footwork. All right? We're not reinventing the wheel here. We're talking about proper footwork, proper hand placement. We didn't see it there. The Calais Campbell, the touchdown with Ryan Tannehill, he didn't look in the backfield. Like, he was literally, he saw the tight end going down, didn't feel it, and just read the run. Once again, fundamentals, basic stuff. And
these guys are pressing in those spots, I think, right?
Well,
because they're trying to make
the plays.
And they said the one thing you can't do is press.
Exactly.
Guess what they're doing?
They're trying to be too much of an athlete and not so much of a robot,
That's
right?
We talk about it all the time. It's a healthy balance of that.
And then we're talking about the offensive line here, the drive killers, the penalties. How many times have I said it? You guys got to slow it down, and you have to work on your fundamentals on the offensive line. Do the proper hand placement. Do the proper recovery steps where if you get beat a little bit, how to recover properly so you don't get a holding call. But here we are again talking about holding calls killed the drives, Brent. It's the same thing week in and week out.
We have George on the line just a moment. I got to get a thought in on Foles, because I teased it, and I want to talk about it for a second. This isn't necessarily a defense mechanism for him. This is reality. The Jaguars had a good drive going, holding call by Linder. That was a scoring drive of some kind. They had another good run by Fournette into scoring territory, holding by Linder. Another scoring drive of some kind. That's at least 3 points and 3 points. They had a ball down to Conley that should have been caught. They had a ball down to the 4-yard line to DJ Chark, should have been caught. If they make those plays like that NFL players make, that plays that are supposed to be made. And I know all the ownership right now is on Foles because, well, that's what it is. It's quarterbacks, and there's a lot of people out there that want to see Minshew. I get it. But the reality is those 4 plays are very makeable plays in the NFL. Don't hold and catch the ball. And if they make those, we might be talking about a totally different football game. Disregard the third quarter for a moment because these things happened in the first half. It was 7-3 at halftime. 7-3. So, again, I'm not sitting here making this big defense and saying Foles should be the guy, but that's reality. These guys didn't make plays on a couple of plays that Foles, did he put it in the perfect spot? We can talk about that. They should have been made, is my point.
This is also reality, though, too. I saw those same drops with Gardner Minshew. I saw the Tennessee Titans game Thursday night where he had a probably the best ball we've seen all year to D.D. Westbrook. And D.D. just dropped the ball outright. And that cost him a touchdown.
I
But
also
guess
saw
what?
DJ Chark make a lot of plays for Minshew.
Yeah, okay. But point be taken, both quarterbacks, when they're in there, the receivers haven't necessarily helped them out so much. You know what I mean? And I get it. It's 4 plays that could result in scoring drives, and I understand that, Brent. But at the same time, Minshew had the same thing.
Yeah, this isn't a comp to Minshew. This is a point. Right now, Foles is under the microscope for having 3 points at halftime.
Yeah.
There's no doubt they should have had more than 3 points at halftime. That had nothing to do with Foles. And the guy, by the way, this is a guy that's sitting here saying Foles looks slow, it looks clunky, it looks rusty, it doesn't look right. But in the first half, he actually put them in a position, along with Fournette and that offensive line, the play calling of DiFilippo, to be way more successful than 3 points at halftime. And it just didn't turn out. Could have changed at least the complexion of the game, how teams play that football game. All right, George, been hanging a long time. Appreciate you hanging, George. What you got on the Foles front?
Hey, guys. Love the show, man. Big believer in you guys. I love listening to you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, dude.
I think, Brett, you nailed it for me a few minutes ago. When you said, it just seems like he's slow or it's slow, like the game is slowed down. And I got to tell you, there's nothing, the only thing more depressing than watching my Jags lose is listening to Foles at a news conference or a press conference. Because he's just so, I don't know, man, he just makes it seem so irrelevant, like it doesn't even matter. And I get it, if that's his culture, his personal thing, and it's like football is, faith, family, football in that order, that's cool. But, man, you're a professional. The thing I loved about Minshew is win or lose, he was fire. And what I've noticed, and I've watched carefully, and I am a big Minshew guy. I love this guy. But I just feel like the team really embraced him, and they made natural connections. Like his connections to Chark, totally natural, not forced, not pressed. I watched Foles. He's desperate to make a connection to Conley, and I love Conley. I just don't see it happening right now. And it just feels like the D-line, the O-line, and everybody's saying fire coaches and do this. Honestly, man, I played sports my whole college life, high school, the whole deal. Our quarterback and our center made all the difference in the world. And I just think that, these guys, when they're interviewed about Foles and they say, yes, he's a great leader, they almost sound robotic. And I know they've got to say what they've got to say. But when they asked them back in the day about Minshew, man, they lit up and they were laughing. And, it was just a whole different culture. I think now, at this point in the season, to start talking about how losses are good because they build character and we should go home and love our wives. That's not what we need, man. That's it. Thanks, bro.
Hey, George, appreciate it, man. Really good call. Really good comments. I think you nailed a lot of different things on that feel, that vibe from the fans of Minshew. I think George is spot on with that, and I can't dispute that at all. I think he nailed that part of it. Yeah,
I guess the biggest takeaway that I got was it's the press conference after the game, right?
Yeah.
And it's Foles kind of putting on this, well, you know what? The bright side is we got our families to go home to, and we're building this culture. We're building this culture.
Can you hold the rest of this thought? Let's go to a break.
Okay.
And then we'll get it on the other side.
Okay, let's get it.
Well, because you're going to deep dive here in a minute. I got a feeling. Well, because I'm going there, too. I think that turns people off.
Me going to break turns people off. Or what?
No, you deep diving.
Oh, it turns people off.
No.
Okay.
No. Foles' press conference is really what
I know.
It was C.
Yeah.
Not A, B, or C. It was C.
And listen, and I'm going to say, I know it turns people off, but I'm going to explain why it may not be as big a deal as you think it is.
Well, and I wanted your perspective on this from a player's point of view. And again, this goes back to last week's conversation. Mm-hmm. This is what I was getting at with the disconnect.
Yep.
You follow me a little bit more after this week? Because people want to turn the volume down on Foles while he's preaching. We'll talk about it next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Temperatures this afternoon and this evening will drop off quickly tonight. It'll be quite cold, so grab your sweaters and jackets to near 40 by morning and even warmer on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. With the first alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where you can get 20% off store-wide, including loose diamonds with special financing. Only at Beard's Diamonds.
This is the sale smart jewelry buyers wait for.
Beard's Diamonds 20% off sale on everything in their massive showroom,
including loose diamonds.
Yes, you get special financing. You get Beard's already low prices. You get the largest inventory to choose from. Plus, you take an additional 20% off all diamond jewelry.
If you're popping the question this holiday season, right now you can save thousands.
20% off everything at Beard's Diamonds
in the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
When the time comes to get your roof replaced, call Big Fish Roofing. We don't require any upfront deposits, and we are locally owned and operated by Jacksonville natives who have built their business on quality and integrity. At Big Fish Roofing, we know your roof is the first line of defense against the elements, so we make sure to deliver a quality project in a timely manner. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing, or give us a call at 904-685-8334.
At Action News Jax, we're here for severe. When storms threaten, put your trust in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Team, led by Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, rated the most accurate for the last 13 years.
The First Alert Weather Team is the only team of certified meteorologists in the Jacksonville area. That means we have the most schooling and training to forecast and predict severe weather, and that experience will keep you safe from a storm.
Action News Jax First Alert Weather on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
We love our pets. Our furry little friends mean so much to us that we want nothing but the best. At Forever Vets Animal Hospital, we feel the same way too. Forever Vets Animal Hospital understands that you have busy schedules. That's why we're open 7 days a week and have extended hours during the work week. In case you have an emergency, remember, stay calm and call Forever Vets Animal Hospital with 6 convenient locations throughout Jacksonville and St. Augustine. Forever Vets Animal Hospital is here for you and your pet. First-time customers receive a free pet exam from one of our highly trained veterinarians. We also offer wellness plans that fit everyone's budget. Forever Vets Animal Hospital makes life easy for you and your pet. Go to forevervets.com to schedule an appointment. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets healthy and happy forever.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
If there was an award you can give a guy that has the fastest get off in the NFL, I would be campaigning for that award for Marcel Darius. It's not only the first step, Brent, it's also the hand placement.
Catch Brent and Austin weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 or ESPN690.com.
Hey, it's Dan Le Batard from the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. You're listening to Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
That is the tough part. And I think that you can't live life out of fear. You can't live of fear of losing your job, fear of what people are going to say. I mean, we're ultimately in a game in the limelight where we're going to be criticized. You do really well, you're going to be praised. You do really bad, you're going to be ridiculed. That's part of it. That's why I always try to tell young players, don't read the articles. And that's, once again, nothing against y'all. That is your job. Just like my job is to continue to help this team and continue to build this character.
Well, that's Nick Foles after the game saying things that nobody wants to hear. I'm just being honest. Listen, I mean, he knows
of
it.
the Sunshine and Rainbows Club.
He knows it. Again, this goes back to he's got to do what's good for him. And in that locker room, you got 5 games to go. You're professional. There's a lot of stuff going on here. But on the postgame show yesterday, when I heard that live, my initial reaction was like, Nick, I've been around here 11, 12 years, and only one time has all that talk and all that building and all that culture and all that whatever worked into W's or even any kind of fun in the month of December. Forget about W's and playoff runs. How about just some fun in December?
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're in it. So I get where the fans are coming from. I mean, to me, it goes all the way back to what I was saying. For Nick Foles, this is brand new. This is the start of a journey here in Jacksonville. The journey's 25 freaking seasons old here in Jacksonville with the fans. And for the younger fans, they don't remember 1995 through 1999. So that is deaf ears for them. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I talk about the disconnect. I think Foles has to do what he has to do. and I know he believes it because he wouldn't stand up in front of a microphone and say that. I give him credit for that because you know the daggers are coming. I mean, I can only imagine what the press looked like, looking like the eyes that he was getting coming back because they are all thinking, oh, my gosh, wait until the fans say hear this.
Yeah.
You're going to give us some more insight on that. We welcome in John Bachman as well. He does throw in once in a while. I know you guys don't want to hear that. Losing sucks. All those things. He tries to at least reach out a little olive branch to people, be like, listen, I know you're not going to take this all in. I get it. It's awful. We don't want to do it. But then he spins it back to what he believes. I mean, I feel like I'm like breaking down a sermon on Nick Foles every couple of weeks. And that's a dangerous thing to do. I'm not trying to bring religion into it at all. But I'm trying to get to a place where this makes sense for him and the people in that locker room as he continues to view himself as the leader of this football team. Undoubtedly, he's not looking at Gardner Minshew as the maybe quarterback of next year. He's looking at himself as the quarterback for the remainder of 5 games and into next year, regardless of regime. Where's he coming from? You've been in the locker room. What would you be saying? Are you buying into it? I mean, how? Because I'll tell you what else. Leonard Fournette, similar conversation yesterday. Comes off a little bit different, but it's a similar conversation yesterday. Now, was he just happy because he had 2 touchdowns and 150 yards? That does happen in the NFL.
And to be fair, I think fans appreciated Leonard Fournette's comments more than Nick Foles, obviously.
Yeah. I
Probably
think so.
because he had 2 touchdowns and 150 yards, though, too.
Well, that's true.
Something to do with it.
That's true. And Fournette's working off a sign of immaturity from last year and continued growth from this year, and we're giving him a lot of credit for that, and we should. So it's just a totally different perspective, and there isn't another running back that people would rather see right now other than Fournette. They're not calling for Raquel Armstead like people are calling for Minshew. And I think that's where you got to check yourself a little bit. I get it. I get people want Minshew. That's fine. But how much of the angst toward Foles in these 2 games is because you want Minshew more so than what's actually happening with Foles and allowing him to kind of get back in, even though the Jaguars don't have time for it? I mean, I understand that. They don't have time to let him get back in. They needed him to play well right away, and it's not happening. But I do think it's fair to wonder, okay, how much of this is angling toward, we want Minshew, this guy sucks, it doesn't matter what he does, this guy sucks.
Okay. So, yeah, I hear you. Do you want me to kind of get into the whole what I think about Foles then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you were deep diving before the break, so we had to take a timeout and get ready for it.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody get your scuba diving equipment ready because I'm about to go in. No, when we're breaking down this Nick Foles press conference, you have to ask yourself one thing, and this is where I'm at with it. Do you think that's who he really is coming across at the press conference? Is he being 100% genuine, or is he kind of putting on a facade for the media? And this is the reason why I asked that question. Because I've been on those losing teams, all right? I've been on teams where we've got our butts kicked. And on those teams, we had fantastic leadership, though. We had the Darryl Smiths. We had the Puzzes. I got the chance to hear talking with Lance Briggs, who was one of the best people I ever played with.
In Chicago.
Peanut Tillman, Charles Tillman, another classic example. Eric Berry. These are all fantastic leaders and captains. And the reason why I'm asking if Nick Foles is being genuine or not, if I'm sitting in that locker room after that Titans game and we just got our butts kicked, embarrassed on the 4 o'clock slot, national television, absolutely embarrassed in every aspect of the game. If Nick Foles comes into that locker room and tries to talk to me like he did to the press like at that press conference, I would just say, get away from me, dude. I'm not trying to hear it right now. I respect you, but I'm not trying to hear that. So it leads me to believe that I don't think there's a disconnect right now in the locker room. So it leads me to believe what Nick Foles is displaying in front of the cameras for everybody isn't necessarily what he's displaying in the locker room. Because if he was displaying that type of stuff in the locker room, I guarantee there would be at least 4 or 5 guys who would have enough of it and just said, I'm out. And the fact that we haven't heard anything from that yet leads me to believe that that's not how it is in the locker room. So that's why I'm not necessarily too worried about it yet, because we haven't heard anything from the players. And listen, I'm not trying to harp on Nick Foles here for what he's saying in the press conference. Like, I get it. That's who you are. And I'm taking the faith out of it, man. Like, it's awesome that you're a man of faith, and that's fantastic. More power to you. It's great that you believe in something that, powerful. Fantastic. Just the way he comes across, though, is like, you know what? It's not that big a deal. Like, there's bigger things at stake. That's what he's displaying towards the fans, and that's why fans are so upset, because the fans want him to take responsibility. The fans want him to show emotion and be like, you know what, this sucks. But Foles is trying to persuade, like, you know what, it's bigger than football. It's okay. If he's doing that in the locker room, it's not going to fly.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's kind of just a facade.
And let me add to this. I don't even know if it's the bigger than football that fans are right now upset about.
Yeah.
It's the time is now. We don't have 3 years to fix it. What Nick Foles does sound like, and this is hard not to say this because it's what it sounds like, is I just got here. I signed a 4-year contract. We're going to get this right. We're building something here. These are tough times, and we're going to be – holy crap, man. We've lived through that a bunch around here. I mean, we had to see the worst football roster ever assembled in 2013 and 14 just to get to 15 and 16, which wasn't much better. So the fans don't want to hear that. And quite frankly, if I'm a player, to your point of view, I'm due $15 million next year. I ain't gonna get it if we wait until 3 years down the road to win.
See,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then that's why I'm saying I think he's different in the locker room. You have to be.
So what is he in the locker room? What do you mean? Like,
I think he's holding guys accountable. I think he's saying, listen, I got to play better. We're not playing good. We suck, basically. Yeah. I think that's what he's saying. Because, listen, like Puz.
But I don't want to throw anybody out.
Let me
in
ask
front
you
of
this. Why would he feel the need to say what he's saying publicly and not say more or less what he's saying in the locker room?
Because every face of a franchise does that. I mean, maybe Baker Mayfield doesn't do that, but
that's not true. I would say that most guys come out there and go, look, we need to get better, blah, blah, blah.
Let's take Puz, for example. Puz always had the vanilla, like, listen, it falls on defense. We have to get better. Yeah. Lance Briggs did the same thing. Peanut Tillman did the same thing. But guess what? Behind closed doors, even the quiet Darryl Smith, who hadn't hardly ever said a word, behind closed doors, like, guys, we got, like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, choice words.
Yeah, choice words. And they all said them. So
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. You don't want to come across like you're pushing someone, throwing people under the bus.
But to be fair to John's point, though, it's like Foles is taken to the nth degree, right? It's almost like Foles is doing these press conferences knowing, you know what? They're going to get retweeted and, like, you know, some motivational speakers are going to use these things and, like, I'm getting a cut from it. Not saying that's what he's doing because he's not, but that's what it seems like, though, right? So I get what you're saying where he's doing it like to the nth degree, but I just think that's kind of his personality and being a man of faith. I think, and I'm not trying to, once again, not harking on religion whatsoever, but I think being a man of faith sometimes is that you can push it to the nth degree a little bit, and that's what's happening. But I think in the locker room, he's a different guy.
You think he's ripping some people in the locker room, or it's more just like people accountable?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you're the general of that offense. And if you're not ripping anybody, then what are you doing? So I truly think he is, because if you're not ripping anybody, and if you are giving this whole spiel about, hey, the culture, the guys in the locker room don't want to hear that. Avery Jones, who's been there longer than anybody, doesn't want to hear you talk about that. And I don't know, I'm pretty good friends with Avery, but I just know the last thing they want to hear is the rah-rah speech, especially after you get beat by Tennessee.
Yeah, John gives us that speech every day when we get off the air.
Is that true, John? Is that true, John?
Here's where my mind goes on and again, when somebody like Nick Foles talks from a religious point of view, a faith-based point of view, I think of most recently players like Tebow, and I think and Tebow was so platform-based, more so trying to spread the message, in my opinion. Worldwide had a huge platform because he had such a big following. I don't really view it that. I think Foles is who he is and comfortable who he is right now at this point of his career. And I also believe the guy wants to win. You don't get to this point and say, I don't want to win. You know, that's not what it is. He's trying to buy patience and be patient from this might make himself feel better, by the way, to say it like this, to say, listen, don't lose it here. Don't lose. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, maybe that's a mechanism for himself. But then I think of a guy like Russell Wilson. Because Russell Wilson is a lot like those guys in terms of his faith.
Dude,
not afraid in front of a microphone to say.
Rasheed Mathis is a perfect example.
But I'm thinking, like, Russell Wilson has this platform that's huge across the NFL. The interesting thing about Russell Wilson is he really hasn't faced much adversity. You know?
Yeah.
So from this kind of standpoint, this is so unique in that sense where you just lost 3 games that would have make or break your season. I don't remember a time where the Seahawks have been in that. I think I just saw a stat where Russell Wilson's the first quarterback ever in the 100-year history of the league to have a winning record in his first 8 NFL seasons. So he hasn't put that kind of talk and that kind of perspective in front of the fan base of Seattle or the NFL for people to either be like, dude, what are you talking about? Or not, you know? And now he won't ever have to because he's got such an equity built up. Problem with Foles right now is, again, Minshew is sitting behind him, and there's a big part of this fan base that would like to see Minshew. And the other part is there's not a lot of equity built up here in Jacksonville. There's two games and a quarter of football, and that's about it. And an $88 million check. That's not really equity with the fan base. You know what I mean? In terms of who you're talking to in front of a
that's
mic.
where it gets, in my opinion, ultimately, that's where the frustrations lie, right? I mean, he was brought in. We all were told he was brought in to win and win now because we've assembled this pretty good team of players around him, and he's got a lot of money in the bank, and he's the Super Bowl MVP, and we're going to get it done right away. And so and then he's on, who knows what happens if he doesn't break his shoulder, but, he broke his shoulder, and he's out, and now he's got to start over, and, maybe this is feeling a lot more like preseason for him or whatever the case is, and you've got, you got to reset, and that's kind of what I think he's trying to, to Austin's point, I guess, trying to reset all of our expectations, which is tough to do, as you said, because he hasn't lived through the frustrations that so many fans have for a decade plus.
And here's the thing about it, being a former player here, the player's perspective, you're 0-2 right now as a quarterback. I'm not going to give the Kansas City game. You're 0-2 right now. And the fact that you're a former Super Bowl MVP, when you first got here, that carried a lot of cachet. And players were willing to follow you because they respect the Super Bowl MVP, as they should. But if you come out against Tampa, if you come out against, the other games coming up here, say you lose against Indianapolis again, that respect and that cachet, it starts to wear off. And all of a sudden it's like, well, that's cool, but what have you done for me lately?
Yeah. That's not the guy I'm looking at.
Exactly.
Right?
So, right now, and once again, I don't know if this is who Nick Foles really is in the press conference. I'm not sure if he's getting on guys in the locker room. Whatever the case is, I think he still has his team right now. The players are still willing to follow him through these hard times. But if you keep underperforming like you're doing, you're going to lose the locker room, man. Because the players, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you say, Brent, they want to play for a winner. And that's all that matters.
2 quick questions around the horn real quick. If a new coach comes in here, which it looks like it might happen, in January, whoever that is, they've got both these guys on the roster. Who do you think in their mind they're riding with in 2020 when the season starts? And by the way, they're going to say, well, it's an open competition, and we got 2 quarterbacks, we got all this stuff. But everybody comes in here with an idea. You wouldn't take the job if you didn't think, especially if you have options, that you say, oh, I got Nick Foles on the roster, I got Minshew on the roster. Who do you think they're riding with?
Well, it depends, because if John DeFilippo's still here, you have to think Nick Foles.
Yeah, but that's a coach's decision. Outside coach, it doesn't mean you have to do. By the way, I'm going with the assumption that this is going to be a clean slate.
Okay, so no one's going to be here.
No.
Okay.
So
then, as far as I'm concerned, then I'm rolling with Minshew, because if you're a head coach, you realize that unless you're Mike Mularkey, you have more than 1 year to make this thing work. And if you want to make it work, and you're trying to build the culture, you're trying to build for the future, you're trying to build, the Jaguars brand. Well, then you plan for the future by playing Gardner Minshew.
Okay, you would if you were the coach.
Guy. Yes, correct.
But NFL coaches, and they want to be safe.
Well,
and is
some
Foles still
do,
the
Brent.
safe play? Some do, and then some don't. They rode with Flacco for a long time until they went to Lamar Jackson.
No,
and
I
made
hear you. But we're talking about Kyle Kingsbury also went after Murray when they had Josh Rosen, a former first-round pick, at their disposal, and they got rid of him. So I think every coach is different. I guess it depends who they bring in. If they bring in a new school-minded coach, maybe a more offensive-oriented coach, I think you go with Minshew. I think if you bring in kind of the old-school type mentality, maybe defense first, I think you go with Nick Foles.
I think it's too early to answer that question because we don't know where the Jags are drafting yet. What if they climb up that draft board? What if they make
top 10 right now?
They could. Yeah, I know. What if they get a little closer to the top spot and then they can go after a whole new quarterback?
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that. I got a hard time believing they'll do that.
What you could unload Foles? I'm just saying. I mean,
there's not
I
a
don't
lot
know.
to unload because a new coach would start with dead money and all that stuff. So it just doesn't shape up that way. I think right now, again, you have an 8-9 game sample on Minshew, and whatever that tape looks like and everything else, it was some good, some bad, some really good, some really fun, But I still think at this stage of it, like if Foles were not to play, that's why I think it's better Foles plays.
Yeah, because we'll have another 5 games to see what he's doing.
I think that's important.
And at the end of the year, we'll know more.
Like if I'm Shad Khan and I know I'm making a decision, I'd want more of Foles to play right now. I want to see more of this. What did we invest in? First of all, we invested in it. And again, I've told you all along, I don't think it's about money. It's about winning games. But now it's a little bit more about, okay, what's going to happen when we flip the page on the calendar and on this whole thing? And so I need that next guy coming in to have 7 recent games of Nick Foles. I think that's an important part of it.
But do you know who Nick Foles is as a quarterback more than Gardner Minshew? I would say, yeah. Because
you do, and my point to that is I know he won a Super Bowl and his Super Bowl MVP,
yeah,
and he also has experience.
Numbers, but what were his numbers when he did that?
They got W's. That's what I care about in the NFL.
They were run-of-the-mill. His numbers, to be fair, were run-of-the-mill. And he also had a pretty good team around him that got him there in the first place. Not calling Foles a bad quarterback, but I'm saying I think I have a better idea of what Foles is capable of on a football field than what Gardner Minshew is.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. There's been 8 years of it, or 9 years of it.
Yeah, and then there was that one year where he was a Pro Bowler in Philly with Chip Kelly's offense, and I consider that kind of an outlier year because no one was ready for Chip Kelly's offense, but people got hip to the game.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I mean, you're right. You do have more evidence of it. Do you think this is the Nick Foles, though, what we've seen the last 2 weeks, or do you think there's some rust that he's knocking off and all that stuff?
That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously.
Whether we like that or not, you know, I mean, I know we didn't expect it. He didn't have time for rust. I'm just saying, is this the Nick Foles? If they rode with Nick Foles for 2 more years, is this the Nick Foles we're going to see for 2 years?
It better not be. Let's put it that way.
No, I know, but that's a decision you have to make. That's my point in the next 5 games.
That's why I agree with you. You got to play him. That's what I'm saying.
So I think that, yes, there might be some rust. He may be shaking it off still. He is underachieving my expectations for him right now.
Everybody's.
But as far as like the boomer bust type of player, like where is his ceiling? And I don't see his ceiling right now being able to win ball games with a defense that can't have your back and a run game sometimes that falters. Like I don't think he has the ceiling to do that. Now, I don't know Gardner Minshew's ceiling yet. I've seen glimpses of it, and I've also seen the floor. I've seen the basement of Gardner Minshew. But I know what? I think Gardner Minshew's ceiling right now is higher than Nick Foles.
Fair enough.
My opinion.
What you got coming up tonight, John Bachman?
Well, it's hard to really get, too excited now that you guys are just depressing me so badly.
Sorry, man.
Listen, usually I come up here to be distracted.
How's Iowa doing?
I've done
How
this.
are those Hawkeyes looking?
Thank you for asking. The Hawkeyes won this weekend.
There we go.
Yeah, I've done this for 11 out of 12 years. I know how to put up with this stuff.
I know you do. I know you do. It's very. I'm in a funk today. I really am. I am truly in a funk, and it's not totally Jags related. It's a Monday, but it's
like it's the holidays, man. We should be happy.
I know.
And the Jags are
I'm looking
dead
forward
before
to it, man.
Thanksgiving.
Stuffing, pumpkin pie. I'm ready to go.
I am too. All right, so
he's back.
Real
That's all I had to say.
Real quick. Yeah, I know, right? Beer, food. Now you got
lots of beer.
Like a gentle needle right to the heart.
Boom,
I see it, man. All right.
Because this makes Brent so happy, I'm going to talk music for a second.
Let's go.
Do you know that the Doobie Brothers are coming to Jacksonville next year?
Yeah, was not aware of that.
Did you know that Michael McDonald is going to be with the Doobie Brothers?
I had heard that, actually.
Yeah,
Love it.
buddy. We'll tell you when.
I don't care, but I heard about it.
We'll tell you when on Action News Jackson 5. That's a tease, friends.
Love it.
It's next year, I'll tell you that much. But you can get your tickets soon, starting soon.
All right. Maybe we'll give away tickets for next, October.
No, it's not sooner than that, I think, actually. Also, Christmas trees. Did you see this? Christmas trees cost more this year. You know why?
Why?
Because of the 2008 recession.
What?
Yes. Apparently, and I don't know. This is what the Christmas tree growers are telling us.
I smell conspiracy.
I don't know. I want to investigate this further myself.
What else are they growing?
What they're saying is. Oh, wow. What they're saying, no, in all seriousness, they're saying the 2008 recession, because people apparently didn't buy as many Christmas trees in 08 and 09.
Sure.
They didn't plant as many trees. And so there is a lower supply for the trees because, I guess 10-year-old trees is about the time it hits. Anywho, trees are costing more this year because they didn't plant as many 10 years ago.
Brent, you buying this?
I
say after the season, we go knock down some doors and get the real answer.
Yeah.
I'm covering the whole thing.
I'm going to start planting.
I'm covering the whole thing. Exactly. Right? Going to business. ESPN 690
start
trees.
Planting. There
I like
you go.
That. Yeah.
Austin Lane. Action News Jax. Austin Lane investigates.
There we go.
I think we might
knock down some doors, man.
We send Ben, but I think it might be more intimidating to send Austin.
True Detective Season 4 coming up. The case of the Christmas trees.
When we need to collect money, we send Austin.
We send Austin. Want to solve some problems with the city, we send Ben, but we send Austin for anything else.
I don't have to worry about that tree shortage because I go with the fake tree.
Yeah, same with us too.
Yeah,
as well.
I've been trying to get on the fake tree train for a long time. My wife won't let me.
Kids,
it's the smell, though, man. The smell of pine.
allergic.
I know, it is nice.
Really?
Yeah.
What's
that?
that?
That's a bummer.
What's
they're
that?
all allergic.
Your kids are allergic to pine trees? Oh, really?
Oh, so am
I
I.
thought it was
That
like
pole
bad,
line, too.
bad though, or just a little.
I don't know, but we've never tried it, to be honest with you. But it's a
You're
good
not going to
excuse.
risk it? Yeah.
That is it. Don't test it.
Not
Just
gonna
let
risk
it
it.
ride.
Yeah.
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 So anywho, and then sad news, but not unexpected news. They finally officially identified those remains in Alabama as that of young 5-year-old Taylor Williams.
Do we know why that took so long?
We
Is that
don't.
normal?
My guess is they probably knew for a little while and they just didn't release it right away. I don't know the answer, but they had to go and do, they probably did some DNA testing. They had to get the dental records. Who knows exactly what state the remains were. So it depends on all those kinds of factors. So I just don't know the answer. But it's not surprising. They were operating under that assumption all along.
CBS 47, Fox 30 tonight. John Bachman, Tanika Hughes, Mike Borish. Looks like a good week for your forecast around
It's
here.
going to be
Thanksgiving
beautiful.
week.
Hopefully you have some time off this holiday season. You can cook the turkey up and then go enjoy some of the many outdoor offerings we have here. Are we playing Doobie Brothers right now to the break? Coos should be playing.
This is Doobie Brothers. Yeah.
No.
I'm kidding. Coos, I was joking, man. I know. Look at me like I'm an idiot.
I don't have headphones on. For the
record.
record, I don't have headphones on, so I just heard music. So I was hoping maybe
it's some rock band music.
Oh, man.
CBS 47, Fox 35
All right.
until 7 o'clock. And at 7 o'clock, Jags Report live tonight from Top Golf. Come on out, hit golf balls, get your frustration out.
There you
We'll do that
go.
at 7 o'clock.
Hit some stingers.
On CBS 47. We'll be back. We're talking more about this Jags. What about the defense? Is that an excuse for Foles? I say no. Next on ESPN 690.
Away from the football field, Jags players like to hang out at Topgolf. So we decided, what if we put football and Topgolf together for the Jags players? We call it Jags Report Live. It's the newest show in Jacksonville, and you are invited to our weekly Topgolf party, Mondays at 7 p.m. Meet Jaguars players, talk football if you come for the show, buy an hour in a Topgolf bay, and get an hour free. Bring the family, your friends, and we'll meet you there. Action Sports Jax, Jags Report Live, Mondays at 7 p.m. at Topgolf on CBS 47.
The holidays are on the horizon. That means family and food. Hey, everybody, I'm Brent Martineau. Let Renna's Pizza help you out. Parties at school, parties at work, celebrations, or maybe you're just tired of cooking yourself. Renna's has you covered with 5 locations in Northeast Florida. Want a fresh one? Renna's makes everything fresh. New York-style pizza, sandwiches, salads, and pasta dishes. Everything fresh. Find out why Renna's has been a family favorite for over 40 years. 5 locations in Northeast Florida. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach.
Attention men and women. If you'd like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
Opportunities present themselves every day. Opportunities that move us forward. Opportunities to serve part-time in your community while continuing their full-time careers or education to help keep our nation safe at home and around the globe. Explore your opportunities in the Air Force Reserve.
Hey, boss, how's it going?
Don't even talk to me.
Uh-oh, sounds like you're having a moment.
It's not a moment. It's just been one of those days.
Boss, what happened?
So I'm driving around doing errands and stuff. I counted 14 Safe Touch security signs while I was out. 14!
Well, I guess word's out that Safe Touch is the best.
I mean, there's Safe Touch signs in yards, Safe Touch stickers on drive-thru windows, Safe Touch on billboards, Safe Touch on the radio. I'm about to lose my mind!
Boss, it's okay. There's still plenty of houses out there without Safe Touch.
Yeah, but the more people hear about the two-way communicator, the guaranteed response time, the crash and smash.
What do kids say these days? Safe Touch is going viral. Kind of funny when you think about it.
Oh, I hate Safe Touch!
crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Peace of mind. It's one of the most important things we can have and sometimes the most elusive. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. Driving our Florida streets may be pleasant, but not always safe. A lot of drivers are not insured or do not have coverage to compensate you if you've been injured in an accident. If you've been involved in an accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
Office in Jacksonville.
Men, are the effects of hypertension, diabetes, or prostate cancer preventing you from having a satisfying love life? In just one visit, the doctors at Prime Men's Medical Center can help you overcome ED or PE to regain your confidence and have you last longer in the bedroom. Name brand pills don't work for many men and can have serious side effects. The highly skilled physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center provide custom blended medications that are safe, effective, and work immediately, regardless of your medical history or age. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. So if you have problems in the bedroom, call now for a private consultation. One call, one visit, one simple solution to regain your love life. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
One of the easiest ways to offer local kids a great Christmas is through Jewish Family and Community Services. Help us make this holiday season shine. Jewish Family and Community Services. Here for giving, here for Jags.
Moscow Ballet's Great Russian Nutcracker dazzles this Christmas. Bring the whole family together for the original holiday tradition. Step into a simpler time filled with sweet dreams and spectacular magic. Experience world-class artists, stunning costumes, and towering puppets on the Gift of Christmas tour. It just wouldn't be Christmas without Moscow Ballet's Great Russian Nutcracker. Get tickets now at nutcracker.com.
Appearing at the Florida Theater December 22nd. Get your tickets today at nutcracker.com.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax. Thank you for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. Everyone is loving our in-depth coverage of the Jaguars, the NFL, and all things sports. Another thing our listeners will love, your business. Let's work together and get you on the fastest growing sports station in Northeast Florida. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 904-245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
For families worried about making ends meet, we are here. For those struggling with depression, we are here. We're also here to protect kids in crisis, assist students, and help our seniors. We're Jewish Family and Community Services, and we've been here offering support to people of every age, race, and religion for more than a century. Jewish Family and Community Services, here for all, here for Jags. Learn more at hereforjags.com.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
And this guy writes in, where was all this Masvidal love before his recent success? Real fans have had his back for a long time.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and on your smart speaker.
All you haters out there, Nick Foles wasn't on defense, okay? He didn't give up that many points.
Ah, there we go. That's a good segue. I love Eric Locke, by the way, who asked a good question about Tom Coughlin we might get into today or might not get into till tomorrow. He just saw I was opening an envelope and having trouble with it. He said, you're having trouble with that envelope. I was.
Yes.
By the way, there was someone in the building. We had some, thank you for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That was nice. Very nice. I didn't write anybody's thank you.
I didn't either.
We got a Thanksgiving thank you?
Well, I think they did this, right? Was this like a station initiative thing? Is this like a team bonding, team building?
They had their Friday was our Thanksgiving, which I keep our company's Cox Media Group, so I was calling it something giving, and the company asked me to stop calling it.
Oh, wait, look, can I see the card quick? That's awesome, by the way. Can I see that card quick? Because I think you have the envelope it came in.
I do. I ripped it up. I was having trouble with it.
Yeah, those were in the lunchroom, right?
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
Yeah. So this is how.
Who's got like 3?
This is how fat I am right now because I'm on a fight
You
camp.
thought it was food?
Well, no. So they're in a box, and I'm like,
did
oh,
too.
someone's got donuts. Score. Open them up, envelopes. I'm like, nope. All right, I'm out of here.
I did the exact same thing.
I thought they're donuts, man.
All right, real quick here,
gourmet.
because we don't have a lot of time in this segment. But would the Jags have still lost these last 2 games with Minshew?
I'd assume so, right? Because the defense isn't doing them any favors.
Okay. So the defense, like I just chimed in, star 690, always leave your responses, and we get them on, and we have a lot of responses. I want to get to some of those in the next hour or two. A lot on social media, a lot on Facebook and YouTube and all those places. So we appreciate you watching, checking in on the show today here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. I understand the emotions are high. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. See, I think the defense is the eyesore right now. No doubt about it. But I take you back to that conversation I had a little earlier, almost kind of pseudo in defense of Nick Foles, where they had 2 holding penalties. They had a couple of plays where they could drop. And then on top of that, Foles. See, they give up that one play, the one drive coming out. It was boom, boom, boom. You're like, oh, my gosh, here we go, 14-3. But then the next series was an awful series. I tweeted out, I said, what the hell was that possession? They had 3 plays, Austin, that didn't even go 2 yards down the field. One was a run play. Then they swung it out to Fournette. He got tackled at the line of scrimmage. And then they go bubble screen on 3rd and 8. They're not even trying to push the ball down the field. They punt it away. And then all the other crap started to ensue. But it's like, what are we doing here? So I think the offense feeds into that. Now, I'm not excusing the defense, but I am not also going to give Nick Foles and this offense the excuse of the defense. Mm-hmm. It goes hand in hand. The game changes. The tone changes if you make a play or 2 early on. Their first drive was terrific, but they got nothing out of it. And if you don't get anything out of it, then you don't set the tone. You want the Titans and Ryan Tannehill playing uphill. You want that.
Yeah.
They could never get that. So that's on the offense. That's Foles' fault, too. That's Steve Filippo's fault.
This is a defense who held the Titans to 7 points in the first half, and the Jaguars only put up 3 points. Spoiler alert, you're not going to win a lot of games scoring 3 points in the first half.
And that's my point. And yes, then the defense sucked.
Absolutely.
But the offense isn't much better until garbage time doesn't count. 35-3 stuff doesn't count.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. You're going to look at Foles' numbers at the end of the year. You're going to look at these 2 games and be like, oh, he almost threw for 300 yards. Well, we did that with Blake Bortles. And I was guilty of that at times with Blake Bortles. It doesn't work. These plays in the first half are critical of the way you're supposed to play. Why can't the Jags beat the freaking Titans? Next on ESPN 690. Are you looking for the best wings around? I found the place. Listen up. Hey, everyone. It's Brent Martineau. Mr. Chubby's Wings is awesome. 2 locations, the West Side and in Fleming Island. They are a part of the community, too. Mr. Chubby's Wings wants to wish all of the high school teams good luck this fall. They've been supporting youth athletics for a decade. Get ready for the game at Mr. Chubby's. Celebrate the big win at Mr. Chubby's. Chub it up with the best wings around. Mr. Chubby's Wings on the West Side and in Fleming Island.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Natural disasters can be unexpected and devastating to your home or property. If your home or property is damaged and needs repairs, it's important to use only Florida licensed contractors. Remember to check their references, get everything in writing, and don't pay up front. To verify your contractors are licensed, contact the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation online at myfloridalicense.com. That's myfloridalicense.com.
Tax problems can be extremely stressful and cause financial devastation. The tax attorneys at J. David Tax Law are right here in Jacksonville to be your personal advocate and resolve your IRS or state sales tax issues. J. David Tax Law focuses on your needs and case outcomes. Don't be fooled by these big out-of-town tax companies that only focus on getting you to sign up and pay without even working with an attorney. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit-down with J. David Tax Law. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777, 904-507-4777. Peace of mind only a click or phone call away, 904-507-4777, or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick & Wingo. You're listening to ESPN 690.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz has a bruised middle finger on his throwing hand. He's not expected to miss any practice time, putting him on track to play Sunday against the Dolphins. Wentz coming off a 4-turnover performance, his third game of this season with multiple turnovers. And one of Wentz's issues, he's gotten into some bad habits fundamentally, explains ESPN's Tim Hasselbeck.
In terms of how he carries the ball, what happens with a football when he tries to escape, regardless of the stuff around him. And I think there's some legitimacy to the guys around him, not necessarily being, the most talented group at wide receiver. I think they're lacking some speed, some true playmakers there. But that can't get you into bad habits.
Tim Hasselbeck on Golick and Wingo. From ESPN's Ed Werder, even with intense criticism from owner and GM Jerry Jones after the loss to the Patriots, Cowboys won't make any immediate changes to Coach Jason Garrett's staff with a game against the Bills in 3 days. Bengals going back to Andy Dalton as their starting quarterback. Winless Cincinnati has lost the last 3 games with rookie Ryan Finley under center.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I heard the Jaguars are taking on Mayport Middle this coming weekend. They're only labeled as slight underdogs.
All right.
Well, my money's on the Jags in that game. Had to be careful which way to go there. It was up for some debate.
There we go.
Thanks for some of the calls, by the way, and chiming in on star 690. You can always do that, 904-362-9901 as well. Leave a voicemail, join the live show. We've had a bunch of callers today and a lot of social media interaction. We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. I want to talk about this Titans and Jaguars rivalry or lack thereof, because right now it feels like a hammer and a nail. I know the Jaguars have won some Thursday night games. I know they beat the Titans earlier this year. And by the way, that doesn't help the whole Foles camp at all from a Minshew versus Foles department.
Yeah.
But it just feels like the Titans have absolutely owned the Jaguars. So I'll get into it in just a moment because I've got some numbers to share with you. And maybe it's not as bad as perception is, like even from my point of view, but it's still freaking bad. And if you can't beat somebody, you have no chance to win your division. So we'll talk a little bit about it in just a minute. I want to give away some tickets, though, to the 2019 Orlando Invitational. We've got some good college basketball coming up this Thanksgiving weekend, including Thanksgiving night. So I know a lot of folks go down to Orlando. We used to do the Disney thing all the time around Thanksgiving and always thought about going over to this event and never did. But Maryland and Temple, Texas A&M and Harvard, USC, Fairfield, Davidson, Marquette.
Okay. I had no idea Marquette was going to be there.
I know.
Now you have my attention now.
So anyway, we'll give away a 3-pack of tickets. Caller number 3, 904-362-9901. If you want to head down, this is tickets, by the way, for all the sessions.
Yeah.
So you don't have to just go on like Thanksgiving night or the Friday. It's a weekend thing, the 2019 Orlando Invitational. And we're giving away some tickets. Caller number 3, come and get them if you want to see some college basketball, some good college hoops this weekend. Brett Martineau, cool. Austin Lane, Coos here. Coos, I'll let you get to the phones, and then I'll get to some of those responses because we have a ton of responses all over the place. But the Titans, 2013, since the Jaguars have won in Tennessee. 2013. They have not swept the Tennessee Titans since 2005.
And that's through 2 coaches or 3 coaches for Tennessee Titans? 2 coaches, correct?
Oh, my.
Because this is about to be one of my points here.
It would be more than that because Fisher, Malarkey. Oh, you mean the 2013?
No, I'm saying
Malarkey. Oh, more than that then. Because who was the coach? Who was the coach before Malarkey? It wasn't Fisher.
No, I'm sorry.
When did they go from Fisher to? I don't know. You asked me a question. Munchak and Wisenhunt. Dude,
okay.
It's a ton of coaches. Munchak in 13, Wisenhunt in 14, Malarkey in 15 and 16 and 17, and Vrabel now in 18 and 19. I mean, that's my point of the conversation. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
4 coaches, okay? Mm-hmm. And so this is my illustration. Is if you can't beat the Tennessee Titans in their place, which, by the way, is not Seattle, is not Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, is not Kansas City. It's none of those places. If you can't beat Tennessee, which, by the way, in those years, 7-9, 2-14, 3-13, and now 3 straight years of 9-7, which actually is the most consistency that they've had in 2 decades. Mm-hmm. They've had the ups and downs, but this is consistent for them. And they can't beat them, man. They can't beat the Tennessee Titans. They're in their head. The Tennessee Titans are the big brother. It's like the Pedro Martinez, who's your daddy? The Tennessee Titans are the daddy. And it's not a great football team. With all due respect to Tennessee, they are average, man. Mm-hmm. I just did there since 1990. It shows you the curse of this Jaguars franchise is the Titans. I believe that, and I think a lot of people probably do believe that, but it's the 1999 Tennessee Titans that have put the curse, the whammy, on this organization, and they haven't recovered from it. And they can't beat the Titans still, for the most part. It feels like they never beat them. They beat them more than the record or the feeling is. Since 1999, counting that season when Tennessee won 3 times, Tennessee is now 28-16 since then against the Jaguars. Mm-hmm. Tennessee has averaged, since the 99 season when they went to the Super Bowl, and this included a couple of high water marks, by the way, they have averaged 7.9 wins in the last 20 years. So, again, it's not like they've been unbelievable. They've won 3 AFC South championships. I think one of them was a Central. So, they've won 3 division championships. They've gone to the playoffs 6 times in 2 decades. So, what I'm trying to illustrate is why can't the Jaguars beat a team and a franchise that's had 4 different coaches in the last 6-7 years, that's had been very mediocre over this 2-decade stretch? And that just, to me, puts it in a nutshell of how bad things have gone in Jacksonville since really 2000. Again, a couple of things here or there, a couple of little high points, but overall it's been bad because you can't beat the team that's in your own division, even though there's really nothing special about them.
So, and this dates back to 2010 when I played for the Jaguars. I think the problem with the Jaguars and why the Tennessee Titans always have their number is because if you want to pick 2 teams that mirror each other, for the past decade, it's been the Titans and the Jaguars because both teams, whether it was with Munchak, whether it was with Malarkey, Wisenhunt, Vrabel, both teams believe in the same thing. You're going to run the ball first, you're going to play solid defense, and you're going to win in the trenches. And that's been the Jacksonville Jaguars calling card now for the past decade. And they've had a couple coaches, but I feel like they've shared the same philosophy, right? And the Tennessee Titans, every time, the Jaguars play them, except, a few instances like the Thursday night game where the Jaguars actually won, the Titans do it better. The Titans win in the trenches more. The Titans run the ball better. And the Titans play better defense. It's as simple as that. It's like the Titans are the big brother because the Jaguars are trying so hard to be the Tennessee Titans. They're trying so hard to bring this physicality. They're trying so hard to run the ball. They're trying so hard to play good defense. And to be fair, they have played good defense in 2017 and, maybe some years prior to that. And the offense was kind of the problem. But now, I mean, they don't even hold a candle to the Tennessee Titans anymore because they don't play good defense. They don't win in the trenches. And sometimes they run the ball okay. So from that perspective, Brendan, it's simple, man. Like the Titans, whether you want to call it coaching, culture, or just the way they do things, whatever it is, the Titans are better at being the Titans than the Jaguars are being the Jaguars.
Well, it goes back a little bit to what you said on Friday. We were having a little fun, right? And you said, like, what would the Jaguars be if they were an outfit walking down the street?
Yeah. Yeah. What is that
Doc
identity?
Martens and...
Oh, man, I said Doc Martens, pair of 1990 Oakley sunglasses, 1998 Fossil watch, gym shorts. Yeah, just... Craziness.
And so the Jags don't know who they are.
They don't have an identity.
That was your point with that. And they don't have an identity. In these last few years, they have an identity. And quite frankly, although you say that's their identity, run the ball, play good defense, whatever, when you don't know if you're doing it well and consistently outside of a year here or a year there, I don't know if that's your identity anyway. What the Tennessee has done is said, that's our identity, and it doesn't matter who we hire, Munchak, Malarkey, Vrabel. We get these big, tough guys, and that's what we're going to do.
Jeff Fisher back with Eddie George. I mean, it's been the same story for forever.
That's who we want to be. Now,
yeah.
Again, I think somebody said on Twitter today, it's like, you always talk about the Colts and the Texans, and you always think the Titans aren't very good. Like, because I don't think they're very good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not. They're average. What, Jags are worse than that. I get it. I tip my cap to you. But you're average, too. Like, the Tennessee Titans are not going anywhere. The Tennessee Titans are stuck at 9-7. And I'm not saying right now that's not a bad place to be. Maybe make the playoffs.
They did beat the Chiefs. You know,
they beat the Chiefs
with Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I'm just saying the evidence to this point, they've been stuck. If now all of a sudden they become a 40-point team under Tannehill and he finds himself and they're more than that, maybe that's who they become. Mm-hmm. But they haven't been, and I guess that's a frustration. You know who they are. You know what the tape says. You still get your butt whooped by the Tennessee Titans who are in your division. And until you figure that out. So my point in this illustration is whatever happens next with this Jaguars organization, they better figure that part out.
How to beat the Titans. Yeah.
Almost before this team can beat the Colts, figure that out. They can't beat the Houston Texans right now. But I almost put the Texans on the back burner for a moment because I just think you have to be, if you cannot handle the Tennessee Titans and beat them, and again, I'm not saying you're going to sweep them every year, but I just gave you the statistics. Mm-hmm. An average football team you have not swept since 2005, even when you were pretty good in years. 2007, 2010, 2017. Mm-hmm. You still couldn't sweep the Titans. Mm-hmm. They have to fix that part. And they have to stop looking like this against the Titans. I mean, this is not what the Titans even try to do to you. To me, that's like the infuriating part of last year against Derrick Henry and this time around against the Titans. They're not even trying to score 42 points, man. I mean, they want to win 20-16. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what they are. And the Jaguars, look, they embarrass themselves and the franchise and the fan base and everything else against the Tennessee Titans. That's the way it's been. That hasn't stopped. And to me, that's a big. If I'm whatever person here next year, I'm coming in and I'm saying we got these AFC South, and there are signs on in the AFC South in their building about the division right out of their locker room. Take care of the division. Yeah. All right, I like to focus on that. Shoot, I'm making the Tennessee Titans bigger. I'm making their logo way bigger. I'm putting freaking pictures of Derrick Henry in the locker room. I'm putting pictures of the two runs all up and down that building. Mm-hmm. To me, my main focus, it's like college football in a way. In college football, you can be, I think it was John Cooper for Ohio State, and you can have 10 wins and 11 wins and all these wins, but if you don't beat Michigan, and he never beat Michigan, it was like 2 for 11, your ass is gone.
Sure.
Around here, sooner or later, Dan Mullen can win football games, but he didn't beat Georgia here in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. It ain't going to be pretty. People get fed up with that. You can't lose 8 out of 10 times, So that's the way it works a little bit in college. I kind of feel like the Titans are that right now to the Jags. These numbers, these embarrassing performances, all these things, it probably is the worst thing that's happened to the Jaguars this decade is the Tennessee Titans, because I think it kind of encapsulates everything else. If you can't beat an average football team like Tennessee, when you know what they're going to do, and you can't be tougher than them in the game of football, because right now you've proven you're not tougher than Tennessee.
Correct.
They have challenged your manhood, and you have lost. Mm-hmm. Derrick Henry has almost single-handedly done that. Taylor Lewan's a pain in the ass, and he has done that. And you can't do it. Mm-hmm. And to me, that would be the thing that I couldn't sleep at night about if I was the Jags, if I'm Shad Khan, if I'm this organization, is that right there. It's a lot of things, but it's that right there.
Yeah, and, and this is just going back to the opening part where I stand by, if you can't beat the Titans, if you can't be beat opponents that you see every single year, or opponents that have lost a key cog like Andrew Luck, if you can't beat those opponents, Brent, then in my opinion, then you don't deserve to lead a team. You just don't. And especially the Tennessee Titans, of all teams, we knew what they're going to do, and they did it. So all things considered, yeah. I don't know. You give me a weird look for a second. My bad. You kind of threw me off my game.
I was just looking. I was talking to Coos.
Okay, got you.
You're good. How about this? The more I think about it, the better this idea seems. Coach Leach, any interest? Robert Sixto on social
offensive
media.
oriented. Yeah, get Minshew back reunited there. Yeah.
Is Coach Leach, who we had on the show, is he like up for every job? Florida State. He's like the first guy everybody thinks of as Leach, right?
I'll tell you what, at least the press conference could be entertaining.
Ebony Brown says Jags didn't even beat the Titans in 17 the year the defense was good. They truly ever know. That's right. That's right. I think I forgot about that one. The Titans swept them. Mm-hmm. It's starting to weigh on me.
I can tell, man.
The Titans are starting to weigh on me.
I can tell. It's simple. I mean, there's the more physical. The Jaguars try to be physical, but that's just not their MO. And sometimes when you have that matchup, the physical team's always going to win.
I mean, I love the local guys. Mm-hmm. I love Derrick Henry having success. I love all that stuff. I'm tired of Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Well, listen.
I'm tired of it. I can't watch that run anymore.
I'm just, as I said, this is my breakdown after the game, my 3 takeaways. I'm tired of running backs having their highlight films against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm tired of watching the NFL films year in review, and I'm tired of seeing Marlon Mack. I'm tired of seeing Carlos Hyde, and I'm tired of seeing Derrick Henry run rampant against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Hey, a couple of thoughts on the Facebook and YouTube and Coos. There were a couple pretty good ones. Let's get to them real quick. We got a call as well, so the reaction continues to roll in on miserable Monday in Jacksonville.
Yes, one of the comments says we lost Telvin and Jalen this year, and now our whole team has lost its way. Our players deserve to be better.
Do you mean our players deserve better? Is that what they're trying to say?
So.
The whole thing, someday we're going to reset this. Someday we're going to find out the impact. I can't imagine the Telvin Smith stuff is a huge impact in the locker room. There are so many people that will continue to tell you, and whether you believe this or not, and I don't know this or not. I'm not in the locker room. We're not in the locker room. We don't know this. But that losing Telvin Smith in the locker room actually was probably beneficial to the Jags. I don't know if that's true or not. I can tell you this, losing him on the field has not been beneficial. And I knew that wasn't going to be beneficial. You can be a critic of Telvin Smith. You can say he misses tackles, all those things. But I think they're missing something at linebacker. And they sure as hell ain't bringing Puz back. So they had Telvin Smith under contract. That is starting to look worse and worse because Quincy Williams, once again, got turned around on the Tannehill thing. Again, I thought
he had a nice tackle for loss.
He did. He had a couple of nice moments, actually. And maybe he got a little better overall. Who knows?
Yeah.
Look, Telvin Smith would have some bad plays, too. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is they've suffered a little bit at that weak side spot. Mm-hmm. They have. I'm not a big believer that weak side spot will win you, lose you football games. But I think in terms of making plays, this defense has not made enough of them. And I would think Telvin Smith is one of those playmakers, kind of like Jan has showed up, right? I mean, Jan, we don't even talk about. He makes the big play, but we don't talk about it because that game is what it is. Why talk about that play, with all due respect to Jan? And there's probably more people who want to talk about sticking up the middle finger than actually the strip sack fumble, which was actually an important play in the game at the time.
Huge momentum changer.
So, I think the Telvin Smith stuff, the Jalen Ramsey, it is what it is. I mean, he forced that issue. That wasn't going to be an amicable fix. Mm-hmm. So the Jags, I think, did the best they could. Now, what somebody said earlier, and I think they're right, did they mess that up going into it? Did they let it get too far? I think that's fair to wonder. Yeah. Well, I think that's fair to wonder. I think that goes back to Coughlin and the front office and how they handled whatever situations were going on there that he didn't like.
And at the end of the day, whether it's Jalen Ramsey leaving, whether it's, don't forget about Dante Fowler, I mean, they traded him away. Listen, if you look at the successful teams in the NFL, the playoff caliber teams, they're teams that build through the draft and they stick by their guys. Now, yeah, the New England Patriots, they can afford to let Chandler Jones go away. I mean, because they had other guys at their disposal. The Jaguars don't have that.
They can do that, by the way, because they have Tom Brady. If the Jags were to get rid of Chandler Jones and he continues to do what he's doing in Arizona, they would be ridiculed forever, as they should be. The Patriots face no ridicule because they're 10-1 and they win Super Bowls because they got Brady and the rest of them.
Because they can afford to do that. Yeah, and we talk about the Jaguars, you can afford it. And listen, I'm not sticking up for Dante Fowler here because, for the first round pick, the high draft pick that he was, number 3, right? Or number 2? What did they take Dante Fowler at?
3.
For the third pick of the draft, maybe he underachieved a little bit, but he's doing pretty well in LA right now.
Yeah.
And you can never have too many pass rushers. But my point is, you lose Fowler. You lose Jalen Ramsey. You lose all these guys that those can be centerpieces on your team going forward. They can be staples, and they're not here anymore. And you talked about Jan. Jan had to get strip sack. I mean, I can't talk about it's funny because I say I don't talk about them. I talk about it anyways. But, you got to pay Jan because you have to have him on your you have to build through the draft. It's simple as that. If you lose your guys that you draft that are, Pro Bowl caliber or just, seasoned vets, if you lose them, you're not going to win a lot of ball games. Simple as that.
No, you're not, and they're not. They're not winning a lot of ball games. Simple as that. First Coast Bubba says they're tied to Foles for at least one more year, so it's kind of a moot question. Not sure about that. I think both will be on the roster in 2020, but who plays is a different question. Jeff Richardson says Wash should be gone. Doug should be on immediate notice. TC should have been gone when Jalen left. Again, the TC conversation we might even have in the next segment, or we might wait till tomorrow. I haven't figured that out yet. As the bro flies says, yep, we should see Marone and Wash is firing all over Twitter, and we have not. One more. Bucktown Jag. We paid that guy $88 million. He's done nothing when the game has mattered. I did say this about Foles. He still hasn't done anything to wow you. The drop in the bucket past the chart goes all the way back to week 1. It's really the only play that I've seen from Foles where I was like, oh, that was really cool. Minshew gave you a lot more of those kind of plays. Let's hit the happy hour horn before we take a break here on a Monday in a short week, Thanksgiving week.
Party now begin. See the beautiful ladies marching in. There's enough for everyone to win. We're gonna make this party the best thing happening. This is my favorite place. Nothing will replace. Nothing. Anything goes. Gangsters are rolling, half face smiling. Heads over, think of the rhythm. What you're drinking. Anything goes.
Grab a drink, get a shot, sip your Star Tenders.
Recently a 98 rating for Vita de Louis. Check out VitaDeLouis.com for more information. 3 new flavors, of course. Well, one already was there, Blanco, and then you got Reposado and Añejo. And how about this? Coming up on Thanksgiving, you wondering what to do? Austin's done it before. The Lemon Bar.
I'll be there.
Vita de Louis Tequila. Thanksgiving weekend at the Lemon Bar, right out there at Neptune Beach. Sample featured drinks on Thanksgiving Day, 9 until noon, featuring a Vita de Louis Bloody Mary and a Vita de Louis Apple Ginger Cocktail. Try them both, Austin.
Well, listen, it's not a plug. I'm going to be there. That's what we do every single Thanksgiving.
Well, you better stop by.
I'll say what's up. Absolutely.
VitaDeLouis.com for more information on how you get it, merchandise as well. We're going to take a time out when we come back. All right, I'm going to get into it. Tom Coughlin. Somebody asked a really good question about Tom Coughlin.
Okay.
So I'll share it with you and then get your thoughts. Next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Chilly tonight. Grab your sweaters and jackets into clear skies. Will drop to near 40 by morning. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where you can get 20% off store-wide, including loose diamonds with special financing, only at Beards Diamonds.
It's time for some straight talk. You know those football players who are all talk, no show? Well, big wireless carriers aren't much different. Well, Straight Talk Wireless doesn't give you the hype, just the savings. For just $45 a month. You'll get the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. No contract. All on the same 4G LTE networks as the big guys, but up to half the cost. Savings delivered right to your wallet. Only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
The Home Depot delivers on your terms. Just say when, where, and how. Get free delivery on over 1 million items. No membership required. Need it fast? Order in-stock items online and pick them up in as little as 2 hours. Or tell us when you'll be home and we'll bring your order to your front door today. This is how doers get more done. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Visit HomeDepot.com for details.
This season, our team will have the best defense in the league. For your home, the best defense is a fence from Armstrong Fence Company. When it comes to home fences, Jacksonville owners trust Armstrong Fence Company. Visit Armstrong-Fence.com. That's Armstrong-Fence.com. Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
It's holiday time, so treat yourself to some golf or give the gift of golf. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. The Golf Club at Southampton is one of the most fun tracks to play in the area, and it's very affordable. It's the home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 as well. Go to golfsouthampton.com for tee times, gift cards, and gift packages. There are 9 different options to choose from. It's the perfect gift. The gift of golf at Southampton this holiday season. Visit golfsouthampton.com.
Attention men and women. If you'd like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
Over half of all men suffer from ED or PE. If you're one of them, either can be embarrassing, but they're both very treatable. Fortunately, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're not the man you used to be in the bedroom because of ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain or surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call Prime Men's Medical Center, 904-206-8105. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or there's no charge for your consultation. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
New flavors and a rating that would make Madden jealous. Hey everyone, this is Austin Lane.
And I'm Brett Martineau. Vita de Louis recently got a 98 rating. It's new, and it's getting rave reviews.
Made in Tequila, Mexico, and shipped directly to Jack's Beach. Vita de Louis is available in 3 flavors.
And those flavors are Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. Try all 3. Make your own recipes with Vita de Louis Tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste. For merchandise and more, visit VitaDeLouis.com.
Can a tree change a life? At Trees for the Future, we believe trees make all the difference in the fight against poverty, hunger, and climate change. Through a proven permaculture method called the Forest Garden Approach, Trees for the Future has positively impacted over 26,000 farmers and their children. Are you ready to leave a lasting impact on the world? Find out how to plant seeds of hope this season at trees.org/radio. That's trees.org/radio.
When you owe IRS or state sales tax and can't pay,
Call J. David Tax Law for effective tax help. J. David Tax Law can stop IRS or state collection actions and protect you from financial ruin. Call J. David Tax Law for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777 or at jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or a phone call away.
Fact. About half of all men will experience ED or PE. Fact. Both ED and PE are highly treatable. Fact. A safe, effective treatment is just a call away. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our highly skilled doctors guarantee results on your first visit, or there's no charge. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rabinski. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, the treatments at Prime Men's Medical Center work immediately, regardless of your age or medical history. You'll receive custom blended medications designed just for you. They're safe and effective with no pain and no surgery. Patients are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, the treatments are affordable.
Men, if you want to last longer in the bedroom, schedule a private consultation with the experienced physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Marty Smith from ESPN joining us right now.
Everybody wants me to yell either go Gators or go Dogs, and I just yell go Mickey Mouse.
Catch Brett and Austin weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 or ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau,
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane,
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
The Jags are still paying for Bortles, and now they're paying for Foles, another terrible quarterback. Put Minshew back in.
All right. Simple as that.
I like it.
The Minshew love continues.
I will say this. For all the callers I've called in, pretty understandable. I was expecting like belligerent, like just depressed people, but at least they're well spoken.
Yeah, they were probably flipping the bird the entire time they were leaving the message.
We call it pulling a yawn.
Pulling a yawn.
Pulling a yawn.
I like that.
Pay yawn.
Pay yawn.
And the bird.
Yep.
Name a bird after yawn.
Turkey.
At the Jacksonville Zoo. I like it.
It's the week for. He was just letting you know it's the week for birds.
It's Jacksonville PR. Like, let's go. Name a bird at the zoo after yawn. I feel like you got to do it.
I think
now.
that would be a good move.
You're welcome.
That would be a very good move.
Yeah.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Action Sports Jack, Stuart Weber checking in. Coos as well. Coos, give me something else off that YouTube, Facebook, whatever feed. There's a lot of people jumping in. I want to try to get some responses. We appreciate you interacting here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 on a miserable Monday in Jacksonville.
Jason says AEW is going to be the Khan's downfall. Make your football team good first.
I mean, make your soccer team good first.
I had one yesterday. I read it on TV. It said, how about if we just change the AEW roster for the football roster? I thought that was creative.
Put Chris Jericho at quarterback.
Hey, I like Luchasaurus getting in there, man.
Luchasaurus, a defensive end.
Yeah, he's definitely a D end.
Who would be the quarterback? Seriously.
You got to go Cody Rhodes, right?
I would think so.
He's the all-American dude. He's the natural leader. Yeah, I put Cody Rhodes there.
All right.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that.
Yep.
Be good.
Is he more Nick Foles or Minshew?
Oh, good call.
Oh, I'd say more Nick Foles.
I would say more Nick Foles.
I don't see him doing all the wild card stuff and going nuts on it. Maybe
True,
that'd be
he's
more of a Kenny Omega.
He's more calm and collected. Yeah.
I know the kicker's Marco Stunt.
Correct.
It's this dude who's like 5'0". It's hilarious.
Now I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Well, you invited Kuz to say the crowd reactions here, and here we are. The fan reactions.
You got any more?
Yeah, someone says this game was 90% on the coaching. The pieces are in place for a winning team. Fire Doug before he quits on yet another team.
I don't know. That's a little shot for the Buffalo stuff, but I don't think he's quitting on this team. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it does come down to coaching because, like we discussed earlier in the show here, when you go in at halftime and it's 3-7. And I know, Brent, you're not a big fan of adjustments, but that's what teams do. Teams make adjustments, and they see what their opponent is giving them, and they react off that. Hardly ever, I don't care how good you're playing as a team, do you go into that locker room at halftime and say, we're all good. don't need to change anything. You're always going to change something. And for the last couple weeks, when the Jaguars go on at halftime in a close game, they come back out and they falter on offense and defense. And to me, that has to be on coaching. So I wouldn't say if it's 99% or 90% like the fan that responded saying it was, but I think a lot of it has to fall on the halftime adjustments of that coaching staff.
Yeah, and listen, I believe, again, I said at the start of the show, and if you're just jumping in, said it a couple of times, I try to wait as long as I can on the coaching stuff because I think it's the easiest go-to by the fans and everybody outside the building. And while I understand the frustration and I think the fans, fire everybody, I would probably subscribe more to the patient view of that rather than changing over another coach. I don't know how that always helps. I guess, if you subscribe to it, you might be right because maybe it changes up and you hit on one, much like quarterbacks, right? Draft one every few years because maybe you'll hit on one. So I can come with you on it. I'm just saying I don't usually subscribe to that. So, and I think
that makes our Januaries a little longer.
That might be influenced by that. But I also think winning's hard in the NFL. I do. I think people have proven that.
Yeah, but I get winning's hard in the NFL, but guess what? 50% of the teams that week are going to win.
They
50% are going to lose.
But 50% of the teams are also going to be the Chicago Bears from last year to this year, the Jags from 17 to 18. 6 teams missed the playoffs every year that were in it the year prior. That's half, man. That's how hard it is to win in the NFL. And that's, by the way, with your definites always in. Seattle with Russell Wilson, Brady and the Patriots, now Mahomes and the Chiefs, it looks like. I mean, you're going to have 2 or 3, and usually like a Packers team. You have your 2 or 3 standbys, then you have 6 that aren't making it. That's what my point is of how hard it is to win. You got to get lucky a little bit with injuries. You got to get lucky with the ball bouncing your way and calls. So I guess that's what holds me off on the firing all the time, right? And I think you also see people that looks like they stink rally and have good years. And I mentioned Harbaugh and Tomlin looked like, I don't know about this. And then there are the situations like Cincinnati. It's like, what the hell took you so long? That was never going to happen.
And the thing that leads me towards that, all right, we need to make these changes kind of discussion is the game's not being close at the end. I mean, you talk about the NFL being this one-possession league where every game is super close at the end, and you kind of got that sense towards the end of the Gus Bradley era where game after game, it just ended up not being close, not being entertaining, not being something the fans could watch to the end of the game and not leave early. And that's what we've had the last 3 games is where it's been a blowout when you hit the fourth quarter, when you hit the time that, you're supposed to really be on the edge of your seat, not on the edge of your seat in your car, ready to leave and beat traffic.
Well, and so I never finished the thought. I'm with you now, bro. I'm tired because of what you just said. It was 4-4. Everything you did, I thought it was a good way to do it. The players, you said trust the players. And you know what? At the end of the day, you brought up Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley's way of coaching was to trust the players. He wanted the players to own that locker room, to take ownership of everything. That's kind of was his philosophy. That's the way it is, I think, a little bit in Seattle and the way they do things like that. Well, it flopped because they didn't have the ownership in that locker room. They had a lot of young guys that had some talent, but they didn't have the ownership in the locker room. Even with players like Puz in there and Mercedes Lewis, it wasn't enough. It flopped. Well, you know what, Doug Marrone, at the end of the day, he flipped the script in 2017 from the Gus Bradley way. He's nothing like Gus Bradley in terms of his approach. And they went to the AFC Championship game. They changed everything. Well, you know what he kind of has done in 2019? He went down to the Gus Bradley way and said he got input from the players. He said, I think you guys can handle this. I'm going to give you, this is your team. Again, I'm not telling you like he told me this. My view is this is what he did. And at 4-4, they had it all in front of them, and they've lost by 20-plus for the last 3 weeks and given up 200 yards, and the players haven't paid them back. Which, you know what that means? That means you made the bad move of doing it. And I can't imagine Tom Coughlin agreed with the way he did it in the preseason, the way he handled, because Tom Coughlin has never done anything like that in 2 decades. So it backfired, and he's probably going to lose his job because of it. And that's just the way it goes. And I think he knew that. I think he knew he was taking a chance, and I actually respect what he tried to do. He said, I'm going to do this my way, not the way they want me to do it down the hallway, but if my ass is on the line, I'm going to do it my way. Well, My ass is probably
Yeah,
now out of a
on the
job.
line. Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it goes. I mean, you roll the dice sometimes. That's the way it goes. You go for 2 in Houston, you don't get it. That's the way it goes. You roll the dice. So, and I can respect you rolling the dice and having the wherewithal to do that, especially with the current situation of the Jags with Coughlin there and then Caldwell being the GM and Marone doing the coaching stuff. And that brings us to the question. And it was a great question by Eric Locke. He asked me about this morning, I think, on social media. He's reading a lot of the responses over these last couple of days. Says, hey, it looks like everybody's all over Coughlin. Doesn't like anything on Coughlin. Don't want. Now, I think this is social media. I'm not sure if you walk down the streets of Jacksonville, they say, Coughlin's got to go. But I think there are a lot of people, when I ask questions, they point to Coughlin. And they didn't like the Coughlin-Ramsey thing for the longest time, right? Until that kind of heel turned on Ramsey a little bit,
Ramsey's not here, though, because of Coughlin.
Yes. So, and they view Yannick not getting paid because Coughlin. They put the dead money of Blake Bortles on Coughlin. So anyway, the question was, is he tarnishing his legacy? I mean, this is a guy that he's going in the pride someday. He did so much for this organization. He comes back in year one and it's grit and win lunch and gets to the AFC Championship game. I mean, just adding to the Hall of Fame career. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's going to Canton, Ohio. But how much right now are these 2 years, this year, tarnishing the legacy of Coughlin in the eyes of the fans?
I mean, that's the question. Do you let it stick with just Marone and Caldwell, who he had to inherit? Or do you say, all right, Tom, find us the right guys to do this. We're going to get rid of everybody else, but we're going to keep you. And this is on you now, kind of thing. Because you get that sense now that he's part of it too. But I just feel like if you're talking about his legacy, he inherited a coach who'd been on the staff before and a general manager who had already been here when he got here.
Well, in fairness, though, you're right about the general manager, and I think there were some moves made here. I think Shad Khan wanted to keep Todd Wash as a defensive coordinator. I think Dave Caldwell, he wanted him to be along. He didn't want him making all the decisions, but he wanted him there. He signed off on that. But I do think Tom Coughlin had every bit to do with Marone being here.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he helped sign off on that. I think he had said basically 2 coaches. I think the other one was Smitty from Tampa at the time, but Atlanta, Mike Smith. So he had everything to do with that part.
Here's the way I look at it, though. So Jalen Ramsey's obviously gone. And Telvin Smith is no longer, he's retired as of now. Who knows if he's coming back or not. That has a direct core, and I'm not saying it's a coincidence or anything, but the 2 guys that Tom Coughlin called out in that, what was it, the state of the franchise, was it? Yeah.
Yes.
The state of the franchise address are no longer on the Jaguars. Now, coincidence? I don't know. Do I want to blame Tom Coughlin? I kind of do, because I think it has a direct correlation to it. So, does Tom Coughlin's reputation get tarnished and things like that? I mean, at the end of the day, the guy's won Super Bowl. So I think he's always going to...
Just not here.
Well, he won Super Bowls, but what he did to build this. That's where his legacy... He's revered here because of what he did early on for the Jaguars. I mean, he's the first coach in history, and he did great things with this Jaguars franchise those first handful of years.
Yeah. I mean, I guess from the fans' perspective, do you want to see Tom Coughlin go? I think most fans would want to do that. And if you're Shad Khan, listen, if you're a businessman like Shad Khan is, I understand that it may not be the easiest thing to let a legend like Tom Coughlin go, right? Like,
when you hired him, you had to know you might have to fire him.
If Shad Khan had it his way, he would let Tom Coughlin resign. Right now, I don't know where Tom Coughlin's at in a mindset. I don't know if he still wants to keep on doing this. Not sure if this is last year. But if you're Shad Khan, you don't understand maybe the X's and O's of football, so you put people in charge that do. You're not Jerry Jones. I say it all the time. You're not Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is like the head of football operations because he understands the game. Shad Khan put people in charge to do that for him. Well, guess what? It's not paying dividends because the people that you put in charge, whatever reason, whether it's the coaching, the GM, or Tom Coughlin himself, whoever you put in charge to run the show, they're not running the show. They're running it into the ground, okay? So from that perspective, you have to make a change. And if that involves firing Tom Coughlin, then so be it. But you have to make a change because the people that you appointed to head the football operation, it's not happening.
I think Shad Khan has a lot of respect for Tom Coughlin and let him make a lot of those moves. I wondered, there's 2 things that I had a thought preseason, maybe early in the season, before all the Ramsey stuff blew up, by the way, when people would talk about Tom Coughlin, I thought my gut, this was totally gut, that I thought there was a really good chance he would get out after this year. Win, lose, draw. So it doesn't have anything to do with the Ramsey situation, but Then something happened with the Ramsey situation. You just explained it. Shad Khan hired Tom Coughlin to do a lot of things football-wise, just like he hires Mark Lamping to do a lot of things business-wise. And I'm sure there are times that we don't see because it's less public that Shad Khan has to jump in and say, help Mark Lamping with something or he needs his advice or whatever. But the Ramsey situation, Shad Khan had to jump in the middle of, and he didn't want to do that. He doesn't want to be Jerry Jones. He doesn't want to have to do that. And to me, I wonder at that time, and I don't know, but I wonder at that time, that was a major red flag to me to say, whoa, the owner had to take care of something that he hired somebody else to take care of. Mm-hmm. And that's not a good sign. So one other thought. I did this. I remember when Tom Coughlin got hired, the guy that we referenced, because this is a unique deal. It's not unheard of, but it's a unique deal. You go GM Caldwell, Marone. You know Marone. He says he has nothing to do with the personnel. He says it. He's like, I'm coaching a football team.
He reminds us every press
conference.
conference.
He reminds you all the time. But then you have Dave Caldwell and you have Coughlin, this vice president of football operations. So you have this three-headed monster. It's a unique enough thing. It's not unheard of, but it's unique enough. Mm-hmm. And so what I referenced when this happened, when this hiring happened, I remember we were at the national championship game
in Tampa,
when it happened in Tampa, Clemson, Alabama, great game. And when it happened that time, the immediate go-to was Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells did this in 2008 with the Miami Dolphins, and they saw immediate returns. 11-5 year for the Miami Dolphins. After that, not good. 7-9, 7-9. Parcells was out 3 years in. One winning season now since 2008 because they did not draft well in those couple years. They did not make good decisions. I think some of that decision-making was the Ryan Tannehill move or not getting another quarterback and getting Long instead. Was it Jake Long? Yeah. I think they ended up drafting. I didn't look at all that. But bottom line is they've had one winning season since 2008. That was in 16 when they went 10-6. And Parcells had immediate impact, 11-5. Bam. But then nothing. Well, think about it around here now. Tom Coughlin, immediate impact. Mm-hmm. Great year, wins the South, goes to the AFC Championship game. Since then, nothing. 5-11, and now whatever this is headed to. It might not be a sustainable operation the way you got it set up. It's Vice President of Football Operations, GM, coach. It's too many cooks in the kitchen. Add to that some of Coughlin's guys on the staff. Dom Capers coming in. Yeah. Has he muddied things up for Todd Wash? Do we have too many people to, you can look at it a variety of ways. When it goes wrong, it might be too many cooks in the kitchen.
And that's my point. When you're winning ball games, everyone's hunky-dory, everyone's doing great. But when you're losing ball games, people tend to pick sides and kind of start quicks a little bit.
All right, we'll get back, put a bow on a Monday show right after this on ESPN 690. Probably more Jags talk.
Might as well.
That's well it should be.
Golic and Wingo.
Aaron Rodgers, as Stephen A. Smith likes to say, is a but how spectacular Aaron Rodgers was able to be. I mean, all we're going to remember is that freak show throw to Aaron Jones in the end zone. I don't know if it was a throwaway or not, but what it was magic. Aaron Rodgers looks like 2 straight weeks now. He's in the flow with Matt LaFleur. But if you're the Chiefs, you got to say to yourselves, we had every opportunity to win this game with our backup quarterback. That defense let him down.
Golic and Wingo, weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
We're local, you're local, shop local. This holiday season, shop local retailers right here in the 904.
When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our own community.
Shop the 904.
Powered by Cox Media Group. Homegrown and ready to help the home team look good on Friday nights and every night in any sport, Baker's Sports has been doing just that since 1997. Your team experts offer the top brands like Under Armour and Adidas. Screen print, embroidery, and trophies all done in-house right here in Jacksonville. Baker's Sports will get you ready for your big game. Looking good so you can play good. Play ball with your team experts at Baker's Sports.
An auto accident is confusing enough. Do you think you really need a 1-800 number to get in contact with a doctor? No, you don't. When you're in pain, call a doctor, period. That's who you need to call after an auto accident. McGowan Medical Centers is ready to take your call 24/7. That's all day, every day. Call a doctor first, because your pain may not hit you right away, but when it does, we're here for you. 350-5544. McGowan's got your back, literally.
Are you looking for the best wings around? I found the place. Listen up. Hey, everyone, it's Brent Martineau. Mr. Chubby's Wings is awesome. 2 locations, the West Side and in Fleming Island. They are a part of the community, too. Mr. Chubby's Wings wants to wish all of the high school teams good luck this fall. They've been supporting youth athletics for a decade. Get ready for the game at Mr. Chubby's. Celebrate the big win at Mr. Chubby's. Chub it up with the best wings around. Mr. Chubby's Wings on the west side and in Fleming Island.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need
I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today.
Locally owned and operated businesses give our community character by offering unique options for shopping and dining.
They are a big part of what makes living in the 904 so great.
Shop the 904.
Powered by Cox Media Group.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
Hey, boss.
What?
You think it's okay to get out of here yet?
No, the cops may be still patrolling around out there. Give it another 10 minutes.
Okay. Boss?
What?
You still mad at me?
Well, let's assess our situation, shall we? Here we are hiding out from the cops in this storm pipe because you neglected to determine that the house we came up on had safe touch security. Is my assessment correct?
Yeah, but I swear they didn't have safe touch last week.
I don't want to hear about it, Corn Pop. We didn't even get to the front door before the safe touch video monitoring kicked in. Now here we are, crouching in this stinking ditch.
Sorry, boss.
Just so I know you know, tell me the Crooks Are Us motto again.
Stay away from safe touch houses.
At least you got that right.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Golick and Wingo.
I don't know if I've ever felt worse for a kid in the league than Josh Rosen, It's like deja vu for him. He's going through this all again. We may never know what Josh Rosen could or could not have been because of the two situations he's found himself.
Golick and Wingo. Weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I can't speak for all the other head coaches. I don't worry about it. It is what it is, and if you don't win, then you're always going to have a chance to get fired. And if you win, you still have a chance to get fired if you don't do it well enough. So you just work your butt off, and it's up to other people to handle that. And I just leave it up to them. I'm not going to waste any time, worrying about that. What I'm going to put my time into is how can we coach them better, how can we play better.
I haven't figured out the latter. I do appreciate Doug's candid nature when it comes to that. He knows the questions are coming. He's a realist he knows how this business works. He's been in it for a long enough time. I think there's a lot of coaches that just deflect that stuff. I appreciate the fact that Marrone didn't deflect it. He knows what just transpired the last month. That's not going to help him. It doesn't help the Jags win games. But there is an appreciation, at least from me, for how he answered that question because it is what it is. I mean, think about it now. Mike Mularkey, who we were just talking about with the Titans, They went 9-7 back-to-back years, and the Titans had not done that very often, winning seasons in the last decade, and went 9-7 back-to-back years, and he got let go. Yep. So that's what Doug's talking about.
After a playoff appearance.
Yeah, you can win games, and it still doesn't matter.
He also got fired 1 year in Jacksonville as well.
In Jacksonville, yeah.
1 year.
2-14 year, but yes.
Well,
it's only 1 year.
Well, in my opinion, that was more Gene Smith and Mularkey said, hey, we can win with this football team.
Yeah.
And Shad Khan took that as you guys basically lied because you did not win with this football team. So that was, I think, why he got fired. Mm-hmm. If I remember those kind of conversations, the statements, it kind of read that way. Mm-hmm. They told us we had a playoff kind of team. And
that was after.
That was the next group.
That was the next group.
And then
also got fired.
That was the next group. But I still think there was a candid nature of the way Caldwell and Gus approached that. Said, we are ripping this thing down. It's going to take a couple years. Yeah. Now, their hope there was to win by year 3. And they didn't. And they said, all right, we think we can win this year. When they didn't, and then he was gone. But and what happened was, if you look at that next year, with the help of, say, Coughlin and Caldwell Marone, they flip it around. It took 5 years the way they did it.
Yeah.
So, San Francisco has done it a totally different way. San Francisco said, hey, we want to do this too. We want to kind of rip it down. I know they had conversations with the Jaguars on kind of how they did some of these things. It's no secret and no surprise that Saleh is the defensive coordinator in San Francisco because he had been through what the Jags had tried to do. And so what San Francisco said was, hey, we kind of want to rip this down and start all over, but we want to speed the process up. We don't want it to take 5 years. We don't want it to take 4 years. We don't have that kind of time. And so they looked at what the Jags did. They saw what the Jags tried to do and did with minimal success at first or none, and then bam, hit the AFC Championship game. They believed in kind of like how Houston has set the model in MLB. You got to make the right choices. Right now, if you look at what San Francisco has done, one, they got themselves a quarterback they believe in.
They got a bonus year, too, by him getting hurt last year.
They did.
Yeah.
But it sped up the process, knowing that you have a guy you believe in and you gave $130 million to or whatever they gave him. They also have a Shanahan, an offensive coach, an offensive-minded coach that helps in this day and age where I think the Jaguars were behind because they went defensive-minded rather than offensive-minded. And they've hit on players like George Kittle.
Yeah. But to be fair, they've also been defensive-minded in the draft, though, as well.
They have been very deep. Yes.
They built that defensive line for, it seems like, the past decade through the draft.
Yeah, and they did. And they did it well.
It worked.
And it's worked. Mm-hmm. And can it lead you to the promised land? They seem to show like you can, man. San Francisco.
They'll go back to 5-11 next year. It'll be fun.
Pretty impressive so far.
And that's what the NFL is. The NFL is the Raiders, 6-4, and then get stomped by the Jets.
Sure. The Patriots still doing their thing.
They do. And I've got to admit, I said this on TV last night.
We going to give them some credit now?
I will give them credit. I said it on TV last night.
Fred's coming around.
No, listen, I still hope they lose. And Brady.
Playing JV teams.
I told Tom Brady.
Offense in the NFL.
I told Tom Brady he should have retired at the end of last year. He didn't believe me.
No, he didn't.
He should have retired. I also said they will never win another Super Bowl. Well, not never, but like in the next whatever.
I remember.
They're not winning this year's either.
I think they're going to it, though.
No, they're not.
The Patriots aren't going to the Super Bowl?
No.
Okay.
They're not.
Okay. Highest ranked offense in the NFL. 9 points. Check this out. Love it. I love it, man. Who do you think is going to go from the AFC then, real quick?
Did you just watch your fantasy score? Did you see the weather in New England?
Saw the weather, man. What happened? Did you see
By the way, Dallas is famous for...
Did you see the weather in Philly?
His fantasy score wasn't good,
How about the tripping call? The phantom tripping call. Nice call again.
Did you see the weather in Philly, too? You see the weather in Philly? How'd the Seahawks do?
Yeah, that one I was wrong on, too.
Oh, I know. 17
By the
points.
way, who do you want, Wentz or Foles? I want neither, maybe.
Can you answer me who's the AFC team is going to be for the Super Bowl quick? Who do you got?
Ravens, maybe?
The Ravens?
I would take the Ravens right now over the Patriots, yes.
My fantasy quarterback. Okay. I'm not mad at that decision. My fantasy quarterback right there. Okay.
It doesn't matter when you're in the playoffs, but,
I wouldn't be surprised as neither of them.
Chiefs?
Good.
Yeah. Never
Get
know.
hot at the right time.
Bills.
Playing that good defense, running the ball.
By the way, there is breaking news. You have lost in fantasy.
Oh, yeah. I'm
not
undefeated
officially.
anymore.
I'm up 62 going into tonight.
Stuart beat me in fantasy football. I lost the game. Sorry, buddy. I let you guys down.
I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch.
I lost once in fantasy. It's going to be okay.
I'm happy about that.
Do you think I care? I'm still in first place by a landslide. You're going to lose in fantasy football.
I'm making the playoffs. And if I make the playoffs, anything can happen.
Hey,
I'm fighting for the last spot, so I needed this win.
Hey, and if I see you, you better come correct.
Jags Report live tonight, 7 o'clock on CBS 47 at Top Golf. Come on out. Hang out with us. Pound some golf balls. Get your frustration out. Thanks for listening.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss.